Good morning, my Teaserking family. I hope all is well and everybody's okay. As we patiently wait for gold and silver to go up to the market rate, which they're being held down by the JP Morgan of the world. We will see. So, where do we want to start? Pretty open forum today. Let's go to football first, as we like. So let's review the line. Now I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on in San Francisco, being down to 3 today. I really just sit there and shows how bad the lines are and what the hell the people are thinking. This is a clear. We're Dallas fans. We're going to be betting Dallas, so we're going to make the line skewed. Start off, KC 8.5, 52.5. Line hasn't moved, which I don't expect it to move till Saturday. Philly 7.5, 48.5. Hasn't moved. Buffalo 4.5, 48.5. I have seen 5 and 5.5 at some other casinos. So it's really more than 4.5. And then the Niners now down to 3, 45.5 from 46.5. So let's go down. So I put in my scores, right? That's what I do. That's where the handicap is. Put the score down before the line, and then does the line make sense? Then we take advantage of it. So KC, I got 37-24 over Jacksonville. I think that's about right. I think it's a high-scoring game, and I think KC wins. I think Mahomes has to pull it out. I don't know. I'm not thinking Jacksonville is going to be flat from the way they came back. It's not the same as the Oakland-Miami 74 game, because Oakland was sky high before the game and just had to be flat the next week. That's not what Jacksonville was not sky high. At least they came out looking like shit, 27-0, and the kid threw 4 interceptions. So you can have a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. He gives you 4 interceptions, and San Diego let him back in by not running the same defense second half. Doesn't mean he's a good quarterback. So I'm kind of getting tired of this BS that, oh, look at Trevor Lawrence. Oh, he came back. He threw 4 interceptions, but let's ignore that. He threw 4 touchdowns. Really? With a bunch of 5-yard passes, he's throwing 4 touchdowns. So KC should have learned, be up more close, but Lawrence can score. So I like the game over, I think, is a better play. Kansas City should win. Jacksonville kind of got lucky against San Diego. I don't see Mahomes laying down. If he gets a 27-0 lead, that's all he's going to score, like San Diego did. So, 37-24 sounds about right. Because both teams are over and both teams have weak defenses. So that should make a high-scoring game like we got last week. The over teams scored a lot. The under teams didn't. The Dallas, Tampa, and especially the Baltimore, Cincinnati. Baltimore's strong defense played an under game. It was 41. The over-under was 40.5. You could tease it under 46. You get a W. So that's really how you have to look at games now. Sort of stumbling on this. I kind of had that, but I didn't really quantify the defense like I do now. Well, I gotta wait. What's KC's defense? So if I look at this, all right, Jacksonville is a 24-21. KC's a 29-20. So they're both 22 defenses. The difference is KC scores 29, Jacksonville scores 24. That's your difference. So both pretty much over. 22 to me is an over defense because that's mid-20s. Most of your over-unders are in the 40s. That's how I look at it. Sorry. I can finally, it's 11:30. I don't eat all morning until I wait till now. So anyway, I don't want to do the show at 9 o'clock. I don't know how many people I'd get. But I think this is a good time, afternoon. Anyway, let me know if you want a certain time. Please talk to me or email me. So Casey, there's a high scoring game. Both teams score a lot. Both teams defense 22 to me is not. It's kind of an even, but let's call it an over. Either way. Giants Philly 7.5. I got 27-20 Philly, maybe a little bit more. Giants seem to score about 20 in most of these games. Philly's defense has a lot of injuries, but I don't know if they're key players or not. Really, it's just that Georgia guy. Funny how all the really good Georgia players who got drafted in the first round last year are all playing well. The guy on Jacksonville, the guys on Green Bay, Philadelphia's got one. All the studs. It was very easy. And again, I go back to the Lions. They could have had 3 Georgia defensive players out of the best defense in 20 years. They don't choose any of them, and then you wonder why they suck. Well, there you go. Terrible coaching, terrible GM, no system in place. You have a falling in. They could find gold on the street and say, nah, it's not worth anything. So I like Philly in a close one, 27-20. I think the Giants have been playing well. Sims obviously is their weak point, the quarterback, or Jones. Keep calling him. Keep thinking of Phil Sims instead of Daniel Jones. Same thing. They both suck. I look for Philly to get the win with her. He'll pull off the win. I think Philly gets the win, but I think it'll be a close game. I still am not decided if I want Philly -1 or the Giants in 13. It's still really not clear. I got to do my exam. Giants as a road dog. Now, Giants are 8-1 as a road dog. Question is, what's Philly? Philly's a pretty strong home favorite and a pretty strong play. So it's pretty neutral either way to go. I think either way is a winner. I don't know that Philly's going to do that 48-22 thing again. I am thinking about the over here. You got a 22 defense, which I just said was an over, but it's still Philly will be in the 20s, and then Philly gives up 20. Again, they played some low-scoring games like against New Orleans, and then they played some higher-scoring games. They've been off for a week, so their timing's off. Hurts, maybe his injury got a little bit better. Depends what it was. It was a shoulder. I mean, can it get better quickly? I don't know. And then you've got them where with Hurts, they seem to score more, but we don't know. So it's a kind of a really – I would think Philly wins, but the fact they're the 1 seed is meaningless here. The fact that the Giants won at Mini is meaningless here because Mini is such a bad team that it's like who did the Giants beat? They beat nobody. So here they're playing Philly, and the defense wins. So right now Philly's got the best defense. So I look for them to win the game, and then it gets quarterback, and Hurts is better than Jones, and not by a lot. Buffalo 4.5, 48.5. So my score for Philly was 27-20 Philly. My score here is 34-31 Cincinnati. Very strong dog, very strong over. This game will easily go into the 60s. You got a 48 over under. I don't know why it went from 50 to 48. I assume it's a weather issue. I don't see injuries. But I don't, again, I'll check the weather, but it says Saturday, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, which won't affect this game. Burrow and Allen like dumping the ball down, but Burrow can hit Chase at any time, and I don't think the wind's going to bother his passes. He throws it too hard. He's too good of a quarterback. Reads defense as well. Buffalo doesn't have a defense without Von Miller. Cincy's defense is stronger than Buffalo. If you look at the play now, Cincy's a 20 and Buffalo's an 18 defensively, but after Von Miller, I don't think Buffalo's been giving up 30 points to Miami, 29 to Miami. They don't have that strong defense at all. what was the other game? Buffalo against New England, 35-23 to New England. So, they're giving it's playing 60-point games. I don't see how this isn't a 60-point game. So I love this game over. I love Cincinnati as the dog in the game. I don't know why the line's moving up to 4.5. I've seen, like I said, I saw 5.5s, even better. But I'm feeling good. I got over 10. In the game, I have Buffalo -3. So my score is 34-31, Cincinnati. I just think that you're not stopping Burrow with this defense. And Allen will get his point. This is definitely a very good over. What did Cincinnati do last week? They played a 41. Here it's 48, so all you need is a 42. Is the wind going to be that much? The snow won't be a problem. Even if it snows, I'm not worried about it. If it really gets windy, I like the dog even more because points will be hard. But I'm not worried about Burrow and Chase in the cold and the wind. No, it's just too. Buffalo can't do anything about them anyway. So we're hoping for a fairly dry 10-mile-an-hour wind on the lake, and definitely be a high-scoring game. And Cincinnati should win the game. And then we got the Niners and Dallas. This spread, we have 10. It opened at 4. It's down to 3. My score, 27-17, San Francisco, maybe a little bit higher. Both teams' defenses are good. Dallas is a 20, and then Frisco is a 16. Now, you can't really look at the Tampa Bay game. Again, they had the ball at the 2-yard line twice, so that should have been 28 if they could run. If we look at Dallas against Washington, they lost 26-6. With 3 turnovers, and let's go back another week. Dallas, Tennessee, 27-13 without a quarterback. So who's Dallas really? They're playing weak offensive teams and winning. I don't see that. They're not playing a weak offensive team. Now, what do I hear on the radio with these idiots? Oh, Brock Purdy really isn't that good. He was the last pick in the draft for a reason. Yeah, because they're fucking idiots. That's why he was the last pick in the draft. All of a sudden Brock Purdy's not good. It's the playoffs. He played in the playoffs last week. 41-23 to Seattle. Yeah, you really had a problem. Brock Purdy's not your problem here. Dallas, you think can blitz because look what they did. Tampa, you got McCaffrey here. So let him blitz. He hits McCaffrey on a swing. He goes 30 yards. He's got Deebo Samuel. He's got a running attack. Dallas cannot just rush the passer like they could against Tampa once Fournette went out. Again, they're not playing Tampa. They're not playing Tennessee. And they're not playing Washington. They're playing fucking San Francisco, the best team in the league, at San Francisco. This is a team that chokes, has the worst choke quarterback, Prescott. Elliott doesn't do shit. And then CD Lamb, he's not going to get open. So I got 27-17 Frisco at least, 44. I think the game stays under with these defenses. And Frisco, Frisco's winning, and maybe it's a little bit more. A 41-23 with Seattle, but Seattle didn't have much of a defense. Give Seattle credit for getting 23 on this defense, but that was Metcalf, and Dallas really doesn't have a Metcalf. CD Lamb's okay, but you got Prescott throwing him the ball. Geno Smith, they're about the same. You'll get a few turnovers, the pick six. So I like the Niners, but +3 now. You got to be fucking kidding me. There's your free play, the Niners +3. The Niners are going to win the game. I conservatively 27-17. It'll probably be in the 30s, maybe 31-17. We'll give Dallas 17 points. Prescott will give Prescott 7 for the Niners and 7 for Dallas. But again, that's my score. So I'm expecting to lay 10, 4 in a teaser. It's went from 4 to 3. Who in the God's name is betting on Dallas? So you don't have to worry about the spread jumping to 7, as I was fearing. It'll be 3. That'll be your spread up until Sunday night. And keep in mind, Dallas lost 2 days playing a Monday night game. That will affect them. Don't tell me that won't affect them. And Frisco played Saturday. So Dallas is definitely going to be flat. They beat Tampa. Believe me, they're shitting in their pants playing this defense, okay? Shanahan, yeah, he chokes a lot. But McCarthy's the king of choke, right? McCartney is the coach when Green Bay played Seattle with the 16-0 lead late in the fourth quarter, gives up a fake field goal for a touchdown, gives up an onside kick that Russell Wilson throws a 50-yard touchdown pass to tie the game, and then Seattle wins in overtime. That's your coach, right? This guy can't coach shit. You're up 16-0, they're trying a field goal, and you don't have guys back for a fake. It's like playing the Lions on a 4th and 2. You know they're going to fake it. Like, you've got to at least be prepared. Then they punt, fine. They kick the field goal, fine, but you can't get fooled when you're up 16-0 on a fake field goal at the time. And they had it new. They knew by the set. It was like the Kansas City Miami playoff game in 71. The first year Miami went to the Super Bowl, they called a fake field goal based on formation. So Miami was in a full 11-man line, and they were going to pull the guards, and Jan Stenerud was going to run. And they were supposed to hike it to Jan Stenerud. And the center fucked up because he said, well, Jan wasn't looking. And Hank Stram goes, he wasn't supposed to. He didn't want to give the play away. So he's looking at the spot. The kick, the snap was supposed to go to Jan. So Hank didn't do a good job explaining it to the center, but and the center was one of the linemen. I don't remember which guy, but he really fucked up. But they're in 11. So based on the formation, you do your fakes. So Green Bay gives them the formation. Who cares? Let them kick a 40-yard field goal. You're up 16-0. What's the difference? So anyway, that's what happened. So this is the same coach that Dallas has. So good luck with that. He's done. Frisco beat him last year. I don't see Frisco losing. Not with Purdy's too strong. You want to start thinking Purdy's bad. Why? Oh, you think Purdy's bad? Where's he shown you he's bad? I go by what I see. He looks great. He's got a good arm. He knows where to throw it. You can handle a blitz. What the fuck are you creating? Purdy doesn't. This smells like a fix that Vegas wants you to bet Dallas, and then the Niners are going to kill him. And they're coming out, well, Purdy, he was the last pick. He's going to – now he's going to choke. No, he would have choked last week. It was the first playoff game. And 41 points later, he looks great. I don't see him not looking great against Dallas. This is not – they couldn't beat fucking Washington, and I pray the Giants beat Philly, and then they would have lost to Washington, and they wouldn't have won the division. Anyway, the Niners here are way too strong, too balanced, better quarterback, better running back. Elliott hasn't shown up. CeeDee Lamb, he's okay. He's nothing special. He's no Jamar Chase, I'll tell you that right now. I'd rather have Jamar Chase over any of these guys. So Frisco easily by 10, probably more. You're laying 3, so you get 3. Even if Dallas somehow pulls a miracle and wins, they're going to win by 3. So this is just take the Niners plus the 3. The spread's too low. Don't overanalyze the spread. Pick the score. The score is 27-17 Niners. What's the spread? If it's 10, that's what I thought. It's 3. Don't say, well, why is the spread 3? This is what people do, and it amazes me. They do everything backwards. Oh, well, Vegas put the line low. I should take Dallas plus the 3. Why is the line so low? Maybe they don't even know the line's low. Maybe they just are Dallas people. I'm going to bet Dallas, and Vegas is making the line low. I don't know. But people are betting Dallas strictly because of what they did against Tampa, not understanding they're not playing Tampa. They're playing at the Niners after a Monday night game playing on a Sunday. Okay, so there's so many negatives against Dallas. Plus, they got terrible choking coach and a terrible choking quarterback against the best defense in the league on either side. They're the 16. So if we go through it, Jacksonville, KC are 22s. The Giants is 22. Philly's a 20. Cincy's a 20. Buffalo's an 18 with Von Miller. Without him, they're probably a 20, 21. Dallas is a 20. They're a 16. They're the best defense. Pretty much 2 points better than Buffalo, but with Von Miller. So without him, it's probably 4 points. And Buffalo's defense hasn't been looking good. So normally the best team, Frisco's got the best offense and defense. They're the A team. The only other A team in this is maybe Philadelphia, maybe, which I'm not really sure they're an A team now. Hurts, how injured is he? And then you have their defense has a lot of injuries. I don't know the key players. I don't follow Philly defensive players except for the guys on Georgia. So I don't know if these injuries are meaningful or not. Excuse me. Didn't see that. My girlfriend would be having a fit going, how your shirts you have a stain. So that's your picks. So again, the best thing to do is look at defense and pick your own score. Then you get into the point spreads. Then you start going, does the point spread make sense? Kansas City point spread's low. Philly and the Giants, it's about right. Cincy Buffalo, it's not close. And Dallas Frisco, it's way off. That's what we take advantage of. We're smart enough to make our own lines, and we're smart enough to read their lines. I got Buffalo laying 3 just because they're the home team, but really I think Cincinnati's the better team. 4.5, I get 10.5 in Cincinnati. This is why we bet teasers. In a straight 4.5, decisions. I get 10.5 in Joe Burrow. Who's going to beat him by 10.5? There's not a team out here that can beat Cincinnati by 10.5. There's nobody who can do it. Especially they went to the Super Bowl last year and they lost in the last minute to Stafford. They were supposed to get blown out of that game and they didn't. So they're not going to get blown out. They're going to beat Buffalo and they're probably going to beat Kansas City because Kansas City hasn't seen a defense like this. And Cincinnati's already beaten KC 3 times in a row, so they're not in awe of them. They don't play Buffalo as much, although they played the first quarter and Burrow put up a touchdown there. It was 7-3 before the injury. So they've seen Buffalo. There's no Von Miller. There's no defense on the field for Buffalo. Since he's got the better defense, although it's not, Baltimore went to the 1-yard line when they fumbled. So they were there so they can drive. So you can drive on Cincy. So really, really love the over. Really love Cincy as the dog. It's one of these like play them both. And then it's just a matter of how bad the weather is. But if you're giving me 50 down to 48, I like the 50. Now it's 42. You don't think this game will get into the 40s? Cincinnati, Buffalo? How bad can the weather be? Unless it's a hurricane, the snow is not going to bother the game. Okay, everybody thinks snow bothers it. It doesn't. It's fine. That's not the issue. It's more the wind. If I can't throw the ball to Chase, he can't catch it. Otherwise, and then you don't have to play as deep because he can't throw a 50-yard pass. That will be the only thing. But the wind's only going to be 15 miles an hour, which for these two guys is nothing. So I don't see that being the biggest cause. But if it is a very bad weather day, then you got to take the points because they can't do what they want to do, so it'll be closer. So anyway, some of these lines don't make sense. I see Cincinnati, KC next week, and I see Frisco, Philly. And then I love the dogs in both of those, and I love the dog in the Super Bowls if we get what we want. So that's football. I don't see any major injuries. Just like I said, some Philly defensive players that I don't know are first string or fourth string. Jacksonville, they'll score somehow. I don't know how they score. Trevor Lawrence and his little 5-yard passes. He did hit one touchdown for like 20 yards, but the guy was wide open. See, here's where everybody overreacts. He hits a guy wide open for a 20-yard touchdown or whatever it was. Oh, great throw. The guy was wide open. The secondary blew the cover, whatever it was. And so therefore, was it a great throw? Was it the guy was wide open and you hit him? A great throw was the Brady throw to Julio Jones for that touchdown, where he really pinned the needle and got it so he could get both feet in bounds. That's a great throw. I don't see Trevor Lawrence doing that. He just throws these little 5-10-yard passes, and they run Etnine, which is, I mean, they score, but they don't, they're not going to stop Mahomes. Mahomes is going to plow right through them. I just don't see this game being that close, and I don't. Mahomes. The difference is when Mahomes gets you 27-0, it's 44-0. He's not going to let you get back into it like San Diego did. And I'm hoping they fire the coach, but again, they don't know how to hire the coach. They keep firing their coaches and bringing in guys even dumber. Let's go for it on fourth down. Let's sit on a 27-0 lead in the playoff game. Somebody's got to play to win, and then that's the coach you need. I don't know why they're so hard to find, but too many of these coaches are just, we're going to run the same offense as the rest of the league, and we're going to go for every fourth down, even if it's at our own 10. There's a point in time you kick your field goals and you punt, and you play field position, and you play a defense that doesn't just sit there and let the receivers run free. Or you have a good defense and you change it to one where the receivers run free, and you let them catch, 15-yard passes on these crossing routes where the guy does an out, and where's the defense? They're playing a zone. Well, there's a point when the guy's in your zone, you take them. You got to see that and read that and get up to them. You can't leave these guys wide open, and that's what I see in these defenses. Horrible defensive coordinators, horrible defensive. Well, we'll play not to lose. We'll bend but not break. We won't let them get the big play on them. We'll let them get a bunch of 20-yard plays, and then they'll be at our 20, and then they'll score. But at least we didn't give up one long pass. We gave up 5 long passes. It's just idiotic right now. So the only teams that really get it are San Francisco, Cincinnati, I think, gets it. And Philadelphia, I think, gets it. I don't know. The Giants are pathetic, just no passing, so it's a running offense. So Jones basically goes back, takes 3 or 4 steps, and looks to run. It's like the Oklahoma offense with the guy who went to USC. I can't think of his name, but he goes, and it was the same thing. That's why Hurts did. He'd go back, count to 5, and then run. I mean, he had no intention of throwing. He's not accurate. He just runs. So just blitz these guys. It's not that hard. Put 6 guys in and just go after the quarterback. These guys can't read the blitz, and they don't know what to do with it, and they're not going to drop it off. So anyway, if you're blaming Tom Brady, you don't understand. You don't watch the game the way I watched the game, and you would know it wasn't Brady that caused the problems like it wasn't Rodgers before. When the pressure's on and the receivers aren't looking, that's the problem, right? He's waiting for somebody to get open. Nobody gets open. Oh, that's Brady's fault because the receivers didn't get open. Come on, man. You don't have any concept of that. Anyway, so that's football. A master's look. Again, we like KC 37-24, so we like the over. Philly 27-20. Probably like Philly and the over. Cincinnati 34-31. We love Cincinnati. We love the over in the game. And Frisco laying 3. We like 27-17. We love Frisco +3 at home against Dallas. That's your free play. There's a lot of loves and a lot of likes going on. Again, Frisco's strong against the spread. Philly's strong against the spread. Cincinnati's strong against the spread. And Buffalo is I don't know. They're okay, but not after last week. And anybody playing Kansas City's weak against the spread, and that's it. The other teams are out, meaning Baltimore. So I'll look for Frisco, Philly, and Cincinnati, KC would be my guess who's going to play in the championship games. All right, let's change gears. What are we talking about? Let's see what's going on with gold today. I'm waiting for gold. I did buy I had 7 1/10 ounce gold coins and 1/4 ounce. The rest is full. So I got like 49 plus 7/10 plus a quarter gave me 95 tenths. So I wasn't quite at 51. I was very close to 51. Now, one thing I did, I'm at the gold store yesterday. So he had some Swiss bars. And they were grams. And I know, well, how much is a gram? They couldn't. So 1 gram is this 0.3 of an ounce. So it was a 5 gram. So we had a 5 gram Swiss bar, and I had to do the math. So it's like 0.17. So it's not a 1/4 ounce, but it's more than a 1/10 of an ounce. I bought the 1/10 of an ounce for $2.30. The 1/4 ounce was $5.76. Had I bought the bar, which was 0.17 ounce, it was like 300 and something. So I bought the 1/10 of an ounce, which got me over to the next level. So now I'm at 51.025, not even 51 and a tenth, 50 and 0.2, but it got me from 50 to 51. So that was important. It was important for me to get to the next plateau. So the guy goes to me, so what are you going to do now? Start over? I go, no, we just keep adding. So that was, I wanted to get to the next plateau. I thought when I bought the half ounce the other last week that it got me to 51, and I saw it was 50.975. So I knew I needed another 1/10 of an ounce, 200 more bucks, and now I'm over to the next one. And that, it's like losing weight, right? You're trying to lose 10 pounds, right? You weigh 230, you want to get to 220. And you're at 220 and a quarter. And your goal is 220. So even though you're kind of there, you're not psychologically. You want to see 219.999 versus 220.123. So that's what it was to me, was actually reaching my goal to the next plateau. So we'll see what happens. I think soon gold will go up with all the Russian stuff and the war and Russia, China going broke as the rest of Europe is. We see it all happening. The timing of it, I think they're having a summit on it now. The Klaus guy, all the Nazis, the George Soros Nazi, the JP Morgan, the Nazi. So all the Nazis are in Europe having this meeting. They're going to pull our power at some point. I got to read more into that. So we're gonna lose electricity and power because these idiots are trying to pursue control. It'll be a reason, and then they'll blame something else. Sort of like 9/11 caused airport security. So here's the way the government thinks, or these idiot Nazis in charge going, okay, we want to get airplane security. How do we do it? Well, let's do 9/11, then we can do that. So that's how they're doing it, right? They think of what they want, and then they go, how do we get the public to buy into it? We'll have 9/11. We'll say, well, it's terrorists. We need security. So how do we switch whatever it is they're trying to do? How do we get gold? I mean, oh, we got to create this so we can go to gold, or they have to do the magic act. We have to put the left hand out so the right hand can do the magic trick. And that's what they're doing now, is figuring out to get to where they want to get, what bullshit do they have to show us. So we get scared and then we go, oh, go ahead, please. We like taking our shoes and belt out at airport security, even though there's no fucking way anything can happen. Hey, Teddy. 4K ultra wide. I don't know what that means. So I guess you're saying you like it. Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning. That's what they do to us, right? Oh, look at the war with Russia and the Ukraine. We need to come out with a new dollar. We put sanctions on Russia on purpose. They came out with a ruble backed by gold with the Chinese. So we need to destroy our currency, and we'll blame the war in Russia and the Ukraine. And because the whole war makes no sense. What is the strategy? Russia bombs little neighborhoods in the Ukraine, destroying apartment complexes, which obviously have absolutely nothing to do with the war. They're not military. You're hitting civilians. What is your plan? You're just firing missiles. You just like close your eye. Well, fire a missile wherever it hits. It hits. We don't even know what city we're aiming for. Oh, let's aim for the fields. Oh, we hit a field. I've been to the Ukraine. You got your city, and then like on the way to the airport, it was just a bunch of farmland as far as the eye could see. It was like McFly, and there's nothing there. There's nothing developed. There's not even like if I drive to Toronto, I'm from Detroit. It's just all farmland. There's corn. There's wheat. There's windmills. Canada is a little bit screwed up with the windmills. But that's what you have there. So it's a lot of that. So what the hell are you doing? So it's almost like he's just aiming and whatever I hit, they're trying to put fear in it. Now, I read yesterday they fired 28 missiles into the Ukraine, and the Ukraine knocked them all down. So you do that you send your missile. So here comes a missile, and you then launch your missile, and it's heat seeking. So it senses the missile and it blows it up. So they blew up 28 of them. So Russia, you have no money. You're going broke except for your 13, 14, 15 tons of gold, 32,000 ounces in a ton. So you've got, let's say, 14,000 tons times 32,000 ounces. So you got a whole shitload of gold, and they want that to go up. That's what's going to happen. So they're going to blame the war to get whatever is the next piece in their little stupid puzzle that these idiots are doing. Just stick to the free market. What the fuck are you doing? You have the perfect system in place. You want to blow it up so we can all be communist, and you can control us? Is that a big deal to control 350 million US people? And how the fuck do you think you're going to do that? You think we're just going to go along with it? Fuck, you got to be kidding me. So this is Hitler's Fourth Reich. He wants to take over the world, supposedly. Really, he just wanted to steal all the gold. He'd have had a field day today. He'd be going into China, and you'd be, well, why are you going into China? Oh, no reason. They just happen to have 40,000 tons of gold, so we're going to go there, and we'll create war there. Like, okay. I think China and Japan are going to start a war. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that China can. They're too blockade. There'll never be a China-U.S. war, so never worry about that. We can blockade them so they can't get oil in because they don't have oil, and therefore they'll be out in a month. They'll have no oil and no way to use electricity, and that's the end of the war. So there's no war between U.S. and China. China needs us to buy their goods because they have all these goods that nobody else wants. So we are the buyers. So don't kid yourself. There's no war. They're not going to war with Taiwan. They're not going to go to war with us. Why aren't we going to war with Russia? Because we want to supply arms to both sides, and we don't want nuclear. So don't worry, there won't be a nuclear war. You have a nuclear war, then J.P. Morgan can't sell goods to both sides, and Fink and Madoff and all the criminals. Field is a real estate gold. Field is a real estate gold. I don't what is field or field? I don't know what that is. What is that, Teddy? Is a real estate gold. The only gold there is gold, right? Gold is gold. It takes 5 televisions to pilot a little drone. Okay. I don't know what field is a real estate gold means, but real estate is not good unless you're next to Caesar's Palace and you're going to build on it, or real estate's not really the answer here. The answer is assets. It's physical assets. The reason I talk gold, they can't fuck with it. The dollar, they're inflating. You can't inflate gold. That's why they're not on the gold standard, because they can't print more gold or copy it. They can't get rich unless they go on paper, and then they can print the paper, like Money Heist, the first Money Heist, where they printed 1.2 billion euros. That's why they get off the gold standard, so the government can be corrupt and print the money. That's the goal. You don't, but with gold, you don't have it. But gold's gold. Gold's the only gold there is, and they can't fuck with it. It's not a debt instrument. It's an asset. So you can't do anything to it. That's why I'm telling you to own gold, and it's legally money. So it's always going to have a value. It's been around since the fucking Romans. It caused the downfall of the Romans when the Romans took the gold out of the coins and put it with copper, and there was no more gold. That's why the Roman Empire basically dropped. Caesar's parking lot has no field. Okay. I'm very confused by your comments today. The Bears are looking to buy a new field. I think they already have one. I think they're already in process of building a new stadium, I think, an indoor one. I have no idea what Teddy's talking about. Thank you, Phil. I'm really struggling to like his field is a real estate gold. There's only one gold, it's the coin. So, and make sure you're out of ETFs, because you might think you have gold, you don't. There is no gold in an ETF. If they're promising physical gold, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Madoff. So they're trying to pull a Madoff on you. This Rick Rule and these GLD, SLVs, it's all Madoff. Okay, so get out of those. If you're in an ETF and you think you own gold, you don't own gold. The only gold you own is what I show you, which is when I pull out my physical and it's a coin. That's the only gold to own. It's the only real gold. The ETFs, you think you have gold in the ETF, just try to collect it. Say, you know what? I got 100 ounces. I want it. You'll never get it because they don't have it. It's all a scam. It's a Ponzi. So get out of ETFs if you're in it. If you're in gold stocks, you're going to get hurt because all the stocks are going to drop. They will come back once the value of the gold jumps through the roof. And that's what we're waiting for. So, but right now I'm out of my gold stocks, right? So I was in gold. I was in Newmont Mining forever, and now I've got out of it. It made me a lot of money because I would wait till the 10 o'clock down, and then I would go I'd buy it on the rise, and then I'd sell it by the end of the day and wait for the next day, and I'd buy 1,000 shares. It'd go up 70 cents. I'd make $700 every fucking day. It adds up. So that definitely did. You don't play football on gold, played on grass. You're saying there is gold under Soldier Field? No, he's not saying that, Phil. He's talking about real estate, thinking that real estate has a better value than gold. Teddy's not understanding. Gold are coins. If you want to buy real estate, I'm warning you that it doesn't have a good value unless you build on it. So if you're going to plant corn and wheat and have a farm on it, it'll have a little bit of value. But real estate itself is not a value. It's an asset, but it's only good by location. So if it's next to Caesar's Palace, you're going to be fine with it. But if it's in the middle of the desert, 10 miles away from Caesar's Palace, it's a fucking piece of land in the desert and it's basically worthless. So it depends on the location and what you do with it. But I don't know what you're talking about with Soldiers Field, gold and playing on gold. You're just not getting it, Teddy. Yeah, Teddy's really not quite following what we're talking about. That's okay, Teddy. Just ask questions, Teddy, instead of these comments that make no sense. Caesar's parking lot has no field. What does that mean, Teddy? The comment makes no sense, and then you're wasting the class's time by me trying to figure out what the hell you're saying. So keep it to add value, ask questions, don't post comments that make no sense, because now you're getting us off track. We don't want to get off track. This is a very valuable class. People ask me, like, why don't you charge? And I go, because this is very valuable that people understand this. So anyway, if you ever buy the grams, 5 grams is 0.17 ounces. So a gold bar of 5 grams is 0.1. So actually, let me take this back. So what would be 1 ounce? So 28 grams is 1 ounce. So if you're ever trying to figure out, this is Europe, this is a Swiss little bar, right? If you're trying to figure it out and you're in Switzerland or you're at the coin store and you've got Swiss. Hey, Greg John, good word. San Francisco is only laying 3. That's the good word. If you're ever trying to figure out what it is, 1 ounce is 28.3495 grams. So play it by there. So if you see something that's 28 grams, you know it's an ounce, because it's important to know what to pay for it. Because this was 5 grams, and we couldn't, like, okay, what is that in ounces? It's 0.17. It's not even a quarter ounce, right? So if we get to what is a quarter ounce, 7 grams would be a quarter ounce. This is a 5 gram gold bar. So keep that in mind. Or you can just go on Google grams to ounces, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. That's what I would use. That's what I did yesterday. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to divide it. I said, fuck it, let's just do this. And I knew it was 0.17, and it was $300. I paid $220 for my 1/10. All right, let's see. Auburn football. Norway's huge king crab advantage, foiled by Russian glut and Asia's glut of king crabs. TSA configures an anti-tank weapon from a passenger's luggage at a Texas airport. So somebody getting on a plane in San Antonio brought in an anti-tank weapon. Oh, okay. Where was he going? To the Ukraine? Let's see. Tesla drastically lowers EV pricing in the U.S. and Europe, which means they can't sell them. They got to lower their price. The market isn't there. The interest rates and everything else. Tesla, you need to go out of business, Tesla. You're not going to, if you have Tesla stock, I would short it, meaning I want it to go down, because it's not going up, because their sales will drop, their earnings will drop, their stock will drop. It's very simple, cause and effect. Fed's Bullard in December projects an expected end 2023 rate to be in the 5.25% range. Just ignore anything from the Fed. They're clueless. They're just putting out shit to put out shit. He has no idea. I don't know if this is an inflation rate or not, or no, it's probably the interest rate, 5.25. That's their range. That'll bankrupt the rest of the world who has money in US dollars, which is why everybody's getting out of US dollars, because they can't afford a 5.25% because they're in it at zero. So therefore, that they're basically bankrupting everything. Nobody wants the US dollar. So the Fed just goes on like nothing's happening. They're a bunch of freaking idiots. So here's an interesting thing. I'm not going to read it, but Monday ratings, CBS, NBC slates slip opposite Cowboys NFC wildcard win. They're playing fucking Tampa. So you're telling me ratings are so high for the Cowboys. That tells you why the line's low, because of all the Cowboys bettors. That's the reason, not because that's the true line in the game. That's what I try to teach you, is the real line should be. All right, let's look at the Dow today. The Dow is down 389 points. Why? It's at 33,000. It's being held up by Fink and JP Morgan, who are just printing money and putting it in the market. Stocks give back gains. Dow sheds 300 as January rally loses steam. Stocks sink after retail sales fall, even as inflation slows significantly. This is CNN trying to say inflation slowing significantly, but we don't include food, utilities, or rent in our inflation figures, so they're falling significantly. What is significantly? Let's see. The last producer price index report showed wholesale prices rose just 6.2% over the past year, far less than the 7.3. And we believe these numbers. Why? So we don't believe it. But that's still not good, even if it is. But when you don't include everything in your number, how accurate is your number and who's reporting the number? So you can go 6.2% and you think inflation's that, but if you don't add food and electricity and rent, you're really not looking at the whole picture. So if you want to start buying stocks because inflation's only, you believe, 6%, not 7%, you're out of your freaking mind. And again, if inflation was high last January and now it's only up 6%, it's not the real picture of inflation. Inflation, again, what are they looking at? They're looking at prices. That's not inflation. How high can you go price increase? This is the whole fallacy of their inflation. So if you're calling prices as inflation, here's the problem with that argument. Prices for inflation is not measuring inflation. It's measuring prices. Prices is the economy. Prices has nothing to do with inflation. It's the effect of the inflation. It takes more money to buy the same box of Cheerios. So the price goes up. Does not mean the price going up is the inflation. It's the money. So if Cheerios raises their price from $3 to $5 to cover the loss in purchasing power of the dollar, which is the inflation, year over year, okay, they couldn't raise it anymore. Does that mean inflation's dropping? No, it just means they couldn't do another price increase because people are saying, fuck you, because we're the market and we don't want to spend $6 on Cheerios. So therefore, the price can't keep going up. Let's see, gold today is $19.04, down $3. Now I'm going to show you how to get rich on the gold stock. Look what's happened at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, all of a sudden it spikes down. Now, do you realize this happens every day? And this happens in gold and every gold stock. If you looked at gold stock, it would give you the same pattern. Okay, I figured this out about 5-6 years ago. And so what do? I wait for it to start going up, which it will do shortly. And then I buy on. So I wait for this tumble. When it ends, and it will soon, it'll go back to 1925, right? So it's gone down for no reason. It's London settling and repricing gold, and they do it every day at 10 o'clock. like clockwork. And here they go again. This is all NASDAQ. This is all price fixing. This is not real. There's no like, oh, the demand slipped at 10 o'clock every fucking day for the last 5 years. That's not reality. But what happens is now we're at 12:30. It's taking a little bit longer today. Maybe with the inflation figures, it's staying down. It'll then start going up, and that's when you buy it, and then you get out by the end of the day. Once the line starts going up, you wait for it to go up. It starts going, you buy it. Once in a while, you get fucked. It does a double dip, and then you got to wait. Otherwise, it goes up, and then you buy it, and then you buy 1,000 shares, and then when it goes up 50, 75, $1, you get the fuck out because you know this is going to happen every day at 10. This is how you take advantage of it. So we see gold at 1904, which is a fantasy price. Well, let's look at silver as long as we're in gold, just for Bobby, because we know how Bobby likes his silver. Thinking that it won't go up. 23.49. Again, it's fantasy price. I love when I say it's fantasy price and people look at me funny. So they look at it funny because it's not the real price. The real price is the supply, is the demand is here. The real price is what equals demand. COMEX is down here, price fixing. So how can this be the real price of gold and silver when they're price fixing it by selling derivative paper contracts with no gold, 1 million ounces, when there isn't even 1 million ounces to sell to push the price down in the derivatives? How is that the real price? It's not. That's my argument. And that's why when I say it's a fantasy price, people look at me because they don't have a fucking clue that there's a derivative paper market and there's a physical market that Russia and China are starting to create, because that's my bitch. Demand's here. Physical demand is here. Physical price needs to meet demand. That's where I get 40, 50,000 an ounce for gold, because everybody loves gold. All the central banks are buying it. If you met price to meet demand, that's where I get it from. Plus, that's priced in US dollars. Plus, they've just printed 10 trillion more dollars. So if you're dividing the dollar by the ounces of gold, how does it stay at 1900 if you've just printed 10 trillion dollars for these stupid little bills that Biden wants to pass? How the fuck does it not go up? Because if you divide by how many dollars, now you've got 10 trillion more dollars. This, when you divide, this has to go way up. So that's where I get it from. It's a very good calculation. When I see now, if you watch YouTube or any of these finance programs and you hear the guy going, oh, gold's going to go to 2,300, turn it off. The guy is clueless. Gold is not. That's a COMEX price, which is fantasy. So again, we got to just ignore COMEX. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's not physical. The problem has been since 1971, there is no physical price. That's the problem. So everybody's scrambling in the dark going, we don't know what the physical price is. We only know what the fake paper price, and they're trying to keep it down because they don't want competition with the dollar. That's the real problem. The people in charge, the criminals, the Nazis, the JP Morgans and the Fink and the US government all want, and Federal Reserve want you in dollars. This is the whole key to when Bobby says, when's it going to go up? I can't answer him because it's being fixed by the Madoff type of people who say, keep it down so everybody's in the dollars. And what the fuck do they care if I'm in the dollars or if I'm in that? But they don't want you in Bitcoin either, because again, we want you in dollars. So that's why if you think Bitcoin's going up, you're crazy. Gold's different because I can hold gold. I can't hold Bitcoin. I don't even know what it is. It's a computer. I'm gonna invest my money in a computer program. You got to be kidding me. So that's the problem why the price is where it is. Russia and China, though, when you own 40,000 tons of gold and you're China and you're bankrupt because you just had a collapse of your housing market because Evergrande fucked up and didn't build. They got all the money in and they didn't build anything. So there's all these apartment complexes and houses that are empty because they never built it. They all collapsed. So they've collapsed the housing market, which in China, nobody buys stocks because they don't trust the government. The housing market collapsed. They're broke. China's broke, right? Except for we got 40,000 tons of gold times 32,000 ounces a ton. We've got a shitload of gold at $1,900 an ounce. Geez, imagine if it hit 40,000, what the value would be. So I'll be with you in a minute, Phil. So that's really, you have China and Russia's in a war, spending tons of money. They're broke. They got 13,000, 14,000 tons of gold times 32,000 an ounce in Putin's little hideaways and vaults. And if I got all this gold and I'm broke, guess what I want? I want the price to go up. So I trust the Russian mafia and Chinese mafia here to do their job, and I'll get the JP Morgan team, which they're probably all on the same team, working to get the price up. That's why it's being bought by all the central banks and Putin and Chinese. Everybody's buying gold. The demand is huge. So don't think there's no demand driving the price up. And every other item in our little market, in our free market, in the economy, Cheerios to Oreos to Pepsi, if the demand goes up, the price goes up. If the demand doesn't go up and you raise the price is fucked. So in every other item in our little free market economy, when the demand is up, price goes up, except for gold and silver. Why is that? And that's what's happening, which doesn't make economic sense, which people like me go, obviously it's all fucked, it's all manipulated, but how long can you keep the manipulation? Now that they broke COMEX, not much longer. You got Russian and Chinese mafia wanting the price to go up, it'll go up. And that's really the whole real story of it. Mr. Phil, the only way to get dollars to Russia right now is Bitcoin or crypto. That's not true. So it does have a use case that is some of its value from the West or the countries that sanction them, I should add. I have a loophole to that, Phil. My Russian girlfriend needs money to pay rent. And I have figured out a loophole to send, and I can't really email me, and I can tell you on an email. I don't want to say it out loud. I go through a third party to send it to a third party to send to her, and she gets it. So there is a way around it. If you need to send money to Russia, we can certainly speak. But I have a loophole that I can use something to send to somebody else to send it to her, and she gets it. Yes, I can't send PayPal directly to her, but I have a way around it. Well, there's you can also send it to Turkey, and Turkey can send it there also. So you have to be clever like me, Phil, to figure these things out. But yeah, that's what I do. So yes, I'm still able to help her out. The government just raised rent on her. Our rent went up, but my wage didn't go up, but my rent and the food went up. So I got to help her, and I say, but I can't go to her and give her gold like I can my friend in the Ukraine. I meet her in Lisbon and I give her gold and silver, going, just wait, it'll go up. And she doesn't quite get it. She goes, how am I going to pay for coffee with gold? And I go, you're going to take the gold, you're going to buy paper, whatever the currency, and you're going to get a lot of that, and that's how you buy coffee. Trying to explain. So I gave her some silver too, because then you'll take the silver. You want to have to walk around with 50,000, dollar US dollars or whatever it is in hryvnia in the Ukraine. Silver will allow you to walk around with a little bit less money, but that's how you do it. But I can't go to Russia. Obviously, U.S. are not allowed there. She can't get out. It's really a fucked up situation for your friends and family there who are trapped. But I would give her gold and silver to help her out. But I don't even know how she does it, because Switzerland will not take Russian gold, but I'm not giving her Russian gold. I'm giving her American gold or Cougarans or something like that, or the kangaroo that Bobby likes so much. So keep that in mind. That's your savior. But with the sanctions, what the U.S. is doing, I don't know if it's intentional or not intentional. By sanctioning Russia, you're basically telling these other countries, if you don't agree with us, we're going to sanction you. That's not free market. That's dictatorship. That's totalitarian. That's what Hitler would do. So we have become Nazis, and we are dictating, and everybody's running, right? All these countries are saying, fuck you. We're getting out of the dollar. We want to get into this BRICS countries. So we want to join them, and they're going to come out with a dollar backed by gold and silver. That's our Oedipus to get our gold and silver to the moon, right? That's what's going to do it. And they have no choice because they can't use the US dollar. So they have to come out with a new dollar, and they have to be able to trade it. So they're going to, but nobody trusts Russia and China, right? Who's going to trust Russia and China and India and all these countries, right? You're not going to trust them. So they have to come out with a currency that it doesn't matter if you trust this or not. It's backed by gold. We can't fuck around with it. So that's the reason of that, which is going to force the U.S. to come out with a new currency backed by gold. That's what will happen. We watch what happens in the euro. The euro is collapsing. It's going bankrupt. Japan, India, all these countries, when Powell raises interest rates, it makes people who have to pay back the US dollar, it raises the cost of them, right? So now their cost goes up. That's why they're all getting the fuck out, because now it's, let's say you have a car payment and you're paying 1%. Now it's 5%. Shit. My car payment went from 500 to 1,000. I can't afford the 1,000. I got to get out of it. And that's what's happening for the US dollar. Because it was the lead currency, everybody had US dollars to transact. If you had Swiss francs and you wanted to buy euros, you had to buy US dollars to then buy the euro. It's a fucked system. And so that's what everybody's trying to get out of, and that's what they're doing. So keep that in mind. The U.S. is not the lead currency anymore, and it's all collapsing because there's no value if nobody wants it. So if I'm trying to sell Oreos and it doesn't move off the shelf, and I raise my price and it doesn't move, guess what I got to do? I got to lower it. But if nobody buys it at all, it's done. I'm done selling it. Nobody wants it. If nobody wants it, you can't sell it for any price. You could mark Orioles at 1 cent. If nobody wants it, you can't sell it. That's what a business is. A business is about selling inventory. If you're in the food business, my business is selling services, right? I'm selling you football picks, not inventory. But if I'm selling my Canadian club, which we all love, if I'm selling this, it's about moving my inventory. It's about making it, putting it on the shelf, and selling it. So if I can't sell my inventory, I can't be in business. If nobody wants it, I can market for 1 cent. If nobody buys it, I'm fucked. I got to get out of the business. So don't forget that. Keep that in mind. Even in this recession, depression we're going through with this big inflation, it's still, we control the prices. If we don't buy it, they can't sell it. They are out of business because it's their business to sell their inventory. That's what 95% of the market is: selling a sweatshirt, selling a gold chain, selling a t-shirt, selling a coffee mug. So if nobody wants to buy this Bellagio coffee mug, they can put 1 cent on it. If nobody buys it, they got to get rid of it because it's in their job. It cost me $10. I got to sell it for 20. If they can't sell it for 20, it's their business to move it. And if I got items that don't sell, I got to get rid of them, and I got to try to find what the market wants. That's Say's law. That's what we talk about. That's why electric cars won't work, because nobody wants them. They're making a product that people don't want. So they're putting out blue Bellagio coffee mugs, and they're sitting there, and nobody wants to buy them. Well, how long do you push them out there? Nobody wants them. Well, let's make more of them. Well, what are you, out of your mind? That's business. Most of the business is moving inventory. My point is the electric cars will never sell because nobody wants them. Just like I went in for the Camry on Monday for the oil change, and they're 30,000. I just laughed at that. I go, you're out of business. Nobody's going to buy. He says, you're right. We can't. I'm talking to the sales manager. Now we're talking Bitcoin and gold, and I'm teaching them economics all the time. I teach everybody economics. If they're too stupid to listen, that's their fault. But I'm going to do my part. But I'm teaching them, and as I said, the market's here, and you're at 30,000. You got to lower your price to the market. But good luck getting the market, because he explains to me the loan for a car now is 9%, which really makes 30, 35. So now you really got to come down to 20, add the interest in to get back to the 25. And who's buying it? Is there demand for cars now? Fuck no. Who's buying a car? You're trying to eat and heat your house. You're not worried about buying a car. Nobody's doing that. Yeah, you're a few rich people, but they're not buying Camrys. His market, those people are buying Mercedes and Ferraris, not Camrys. The Camry market is the working people, and nobody there is buying a Camry now. You'd have bought it when the interest rates were zero. That's when I bought it. In 2018, interest rates were zero. I paid the car off in 3.5 years. It's all done. I wouldn't go on a 9% rate. That's why you buy a lot when it's 0%. But when interest rates are going up, you're not buying a car. You're not buying any capital. So businesses don't buy capital. Therefore, you get out of Caterpillar stock, GM, Ford, all the cars. You dump those stocks. Those stocks will not perform. They won't make sales. They're too expensive. Ford and GM are going to go out of business very soon because they've switched to electric cars. Again, a bunch of fucking idiots, especially Ford. What are they thinking? There's no demand for an electric car, especially a Ford electric car. I guarantee you those catch on fire when you start them up. Ford has a history of terrible service and terrible cars that are made like crap that go into maintenance. Their maintenance shops are horrible. Very bad maintenance. So you don't want a regular Ford. I can imagine how shitty they make the electric cars. Ford is the Lions, and you can see how bad the Lions are run. So again, my story in the hot tub, there's a VP from Ford, and I started laughing at him, and I go, do you realize you're tied to the Lions? Oh, no, we're not. Oh, yes, you are. I said, I would never buy a Ford because the Lions suck. And then it makes me look like I'm a Lions fan. I would never buy it. He says, well, you're not our target market. And I go, yes, I am. I buy cars. And that's where you're all fucked up, is you think, the only people that really buy Fords are Ford employees, or people that are friends of family of the Ford employee, get the A plan, and because it's cheap. It's the only reason you would buy a Ford is because it's cheap and you're on this A plan bullshit. The rest of the world would never buy one. They are a piece of crap. So with that said, they're going to go bankrupt because nobody's going to buy an electric car. Sales are down. Your interest rates are up. So now you don't even have gas-powered cars at your dealership. You have electric cars. So you have zero in sales. Their stock will go to zero. They'll have to go bankrupt because they're still building the cars. They can't sell them. They're plant and equipment. So all the big plant that you're paying rent and heat and maintenance on, you still have that. Those are your fixed costs. You still have that. Phil, someone posted on social media about how their GMC Hummer takes 5 days to fully charge. Why didn't they think about that before buying? I wonder, laugh out loud. 1 mile per hour of charge. I heard it took I heard the problem is the voltage. So if you have a regular whatever voltage in your house, it takes like a whole night to charge. I was talking about this in the hot tub yesterday. So you got to switch your house over to a higher voltage. I'm not an electric. It's one thing I don't know. I can't tell you the electricity stuff, but you're not getting enough power. It's like trying to cook a steak with no, on low, and it takes 5 hours to broil it. Well, if you would turn it on high, it cooks in 15 minutes. And that's what you're doing is you're putting it on low and it doesn't charge the car. I'm in a condo. What am I supposed to drive the car into my living room to charge? How do I charge it? Like they're trying to say you charge it overnight. Now, as far as the people that are idiots, well, we deal with that all the time, don't we, Phil? Didn't they think about that before buying? No, because these people are idiots, right? We're analytical here in my class. We think about why did the line on San Francisco go to 4-3? We think about that. We have a good judgment. We see things and we react to them. I think it was you or somebody said their cars catch on fire a lot. So I hear all that, and I would never buy an electric car, but I wouldn't have bought one before. My problem is, where do I charge it? My problem is, how much is the charge going to be? And don't kid yourself. If everybody went on the electric car, it would cost you $500 to charge it, which they won't tell you about. They're just trying to say, look at oil, look how expensive it is. This is an alternative. Yet, what did I just read to you a couple days ago? People with hybrid cars, gas and electric, you can go either way, are all using gas. Nobody's using electric because they don't, for exactly your reason. It takes forever to charge them, if you can even find a charging station. And, what are you putting it in your garage? I heard yesterday that condos won't allow you to park your car in the garage if it's electric because of fear of fires. You'll burn the whole fucking condo complex down. How the fires are created, I don't know. I don't know if it's got to do with the electric charging it or what. Maybe it gets too hot. You can't trust these batteries. So this is what I'm saying is get the fuck out of Tesla, because once all this gets out, who's going to buy an electric car? And I certainly don't trust the Tesla guy. He's like a Hitler too. I don't, Elon Musk, I wouldn't trust that guy. Yeah, you can buy faster chargers. A lot of bullshit, though. Yeah, we are analytical. That's what I'm really trying to teach you. That people don't think about. That I see a lot of is people are just stupid. People don't understand or think. I really overthink, and this is why I'm a killer at poker. I read everything you do. I read your tells. I read everything you do. When you drink a glass, there's a tell I have in poker that if you drink, so you make your bet, now I bet $50, and you take a drink of your beer or your pop or your tea, you're comfortable, right? What does it tell you? You're comfortable enough to take a drink. You have a good hand. Now, unless I have the nuts, I'm not calling you. But that's a tell that nobody knows. Because in poker, if I'm comfortable, I have a good hand, right? So I'm telling you I have a good hand by taking a drink, by watching the TV. I don't care about you. I'm watching the game. I don't care because I'm not worried about you. I got you beat. So with that all said, it's all that little human nature stuff that I watch like a hawk at anything, poker or whatever. Women, you can watch it, whatever you want. I was watching a Vegas episode yesterday, James Caan, excuse me, and they were going over poker, and they were talking about tells. And they're like the look away or this or that, or if the guy stares at you, he's bluffing. They're trying to say the bluffing stuff. The only problem with that is I could have a full house and pretend I'm bluffing by looking at you. You think I'm bluffing, so I can know those tells and use them against you. You think I'm bluffing, but I'm not. And I do that all the time. I know you're looking at me, so I'm going to give you a fake tell because I want you to call because I got a full house. I'm not doing it. I very rarely bluff like that. The way to bluff is when, it's being checked and then you make a little bet. As far as, like raising you got to be very careful to bluff like that because you assume he's betting on a good hand. So if I go back to, I got pocket aces and I'm playing in Detroit, there's a difference between playing in Detroit and playing in Vegas. If I'm in Detroit and I bet $25 pre-flop and I got aces or kings, you going to bluff me? Really? What do you think I'm betting $25 on? Because I'm not betting $25 on 2-7 pre-flop because there's no money in there, right? We're all putting in ones and twos. I mean, there's $3 in the pot. Why would I bluff with a 2-7 for $25 to win $3? Does that make any sense to anybody? No, it doesn't. Unless you're a complete idiot, you don't bluff when there's no money in the pot to win $3. So the only way I'm putting in $20, $25 in Detroit is with aces, kings, maybe a pair of queens, maybe ace, king. But I don't like that because if I don't hit, I'm fucked. So I like to be more a better chance to win. So when I do that, you're going to bluff me betting $20, $25 into a pot with 3 and thinking I got 2-7. See, that's how you read it. You don't read that I'm bluffing. And how do you bluff me? So you don't bluff me, and I'm not bluffing because it makes no sense to bluff to win $3. I'll do that. I'll tease people all day. Oh, yeah, that's good. You won the antes. And, the guy shows his hand. I got the guy showing me his hand. Look, no, I had kings. And I'm like, dude, I didn't really care. I knew you had kings, but that's okay. Now in Vegas, I can't bet $20, $25 on aces. I got to bet $50, $60 on aces. Because in Vegas, the reason you bet 25 in Detroit is you only want to play one guy. You don't want somebody catching something on you. So if there's only 1 or 2 guys in the pot, that's all you want. In Vegas, if I do that, I get the whole table calling me. At least that's what happened at Caesars. So I want to bet. I need to bet like 50 at least to get heads up or with 1 or 2 other guys. And so it matters where you're playing and who you're playing against. Don't play it to win. There's a bunch of professionals there. But you do want to play at Caesars or the Venetian. There's more guys that are not – they're good players, but not usually professionals. And the difference is a professional, you can bluff far easier than a vacation player because the professional is going to say, well, why did he bet? He must have a hand. I got to fold. The vacationer is too stupid. He's got a pair of queens. He's on vacation. He doesn't care. So it's very hard to bluff the vacation guy in Vegas or even in Detroit. You can only bet the guys that really know what they're doing because I'll sit there and think, well, there's 4 diamonds on board. He just bet $100. He's got the flush, so I'm going to fold. That's the logic of a professional. Of a regular guy, he might sit there and go, I got 2 pair. There's 4 diamonds. He bet, I'm going to call. I got 2 pair. Well, of course he's got the flush. He's not betting 100 without it. So that's how the difference between a pro and an amateur is. Mr. Phil, Professor, you think guys that wear sunglasses in poker are wimps, or is that a viable strategy? I always thought it was a sign of insecurity. Exactly, Phil. I make fun of those guys. I was in Caesars in Windsor playing in a poker tournament. This guy had the hat on and the glasses. I had him crying, literally crying. I says, you think that shit works? I go, you look like an asshole with the hat and the glasses. Like, give me a break. This is what I wear because I need help seeing the board. I wear glasses, but I don't ever wear sunglasses or a hat. I think it doesn't help you at all. It makes me think you're a bad player. What the fuck are you wearing a ski hat inside Caesars for? Was it cold? I don't need a hat. It's not cold. It's not 50 degrees in the thing. And then I'm sitting there with the sunglasses, and I just laugh at I virtually just tilt the guy wearing the sunglasses because I look at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'll say it. I'll say, what the fuck do you think? Do you think that actually works? First of all, I don't need to look at your eyes to get your tell. Your tell comes on your bet. When you're advanced, you understand that the bet is the tell. And like I said, at my level, I will give you fake tells because I know you're looking at me and I'm going to give you a tell to confuse you. So you think I'm bluffing. I'll give you the bluff tell on purpose. So what the fuck good is the tells when you can easily give fake tells? Therefore, the only way you can read my hand is my bets. That's how you read my hand. I bet 25 pre-flop. I got aces or kings about 85% of the time. I'm not fucking around for $3 with 7 deuce. In fact, I if ever, play 7 deuce. People are amazed. They go, I wish I had your patience because I'll throw away all the crap. I don't want to play. What am I going to do? Hit the 2 or the 7 and now what? All right, if the flop comes ace, king, 7, I got 7 deuce. I've hit the 7. What am I going to do? There's ace, king on the board. I'm fucked. You think I'm playing this shit? So I don't even play this shit because it costs me money to go in. And if I hit, what do I do? That's the key. That's why you don't play ace 5. Okay, an ace comes on. Where are you? If anybody calls you, you got to figure he's beat the 5. So you're fucked playing ace 5 or ace 6 because you got an ace. And I know a lot of people, they play ace just to play. I got an ace, I'm playing it. Or they fall in love with their hand. As I told you, my buddy, he had jacks and a flop comes ace, king, and there's betting. And he wants to call, and I throw his hand in. I go, what the fuck are you doing? Obviously, one or both have the ace. You got jacks. They got aces. Guess what? Aces beat jacks. But he's in love with his hand. He's got jacks. And I'm like, it's useless. Look at the fucking board. And that's what people have a hard time. That's why people don't ask about how long does it take to charge my car. Because they're not even in the neighborhood of figuring things out. They haven't been taught to think. That's the problem. That's what most people's problems are. And that's really the underlining thing I'm trying to teach here with the gold and the football is how to think. What am I looking for? Think about it. Think of what the score is going to be. Give me the score of the Dallas-Frisco game. I want you to think about the game, analyze it, come up with the score. See how close you get, then watch the game, see what the real score is, see how close you came. Think about why you were close or why you weren't, and off you go. But everything's about thinking. Why is gold low? Think about it. Because they're keeping it low. Does it make sense it's low? No. Therefore, it's fixed. Think about Bernie Madoff. The SEC investigates him 5 times and doesn't find anything wrong. Maybe because they're in on it and they're being paid off. Have you thought about that? That's immediately what I thought of. Was JP Morgan, the SEC, in on it. That's why he never got convicted. And then it made him look better that, well, the SEC didn't find anything wrong. Well, if I'm thinking, I didn't even get involved with it because I said you can't get a 15% return when everybody's getting 5. It's impossible. So I thought about it in the beginning and said it's impossible. I don't need to read the SEC because look what we do with football. Oh, the game was fixed. The game was fixed. This game was fixed. Buffalo game was fixed. Other games are fixed. I mean, obviously a fixed game. That's what we think about. That's the idea of what you need to do. That's the key to life. Why is this beautiful girl coming up to me? It doesn't make sense. We don't even know. Oh, she wants your money. I mean, everything has a reason. Does it make sense? And you've got to have the balls to ask the question, hey, beautiful girl, what do you want? Why me? What's going on? And then you got to read her eyes and you got to read her tells and figure out if she's legit or not. That's what you got to do. And you got to be strong and hold your emotion. Go, well, yeah, you're cute, but you know, I got Russian girlfriends that are a lot cuter than you. See her reaction to it. Anyway, that's what you got to do. So, to answer your question, Phil, I think it's insecurity because they're worried about giving out a tell. Who gives out a fucking tell with your eyes? The only tell that I see is if you hit 4 quads, if you hit 4 kings on the flop or 4 twos, if you look at the neck, you can't control the emotion of hitting it. Your blood pressure shoots to the moon, and you can see, I've seen it where you're just throbbing because you're so excited you've hit quads. That's the only real natural tell that you can pick up is the neck, because you hit a big hand, you can't hide it. So if a guy's bluffing, I'll look at his neck, and if I don't see it racing, then I know he's bluffing. But some people would, do this or, wear a scarf or cover it if you know that. But that's the only involuntary thing that there is your pulse. So you'll think about it. You've got 4 kings. You can't control that. So that's really the only thing. So yes, the sunglasses are just a waste of time. It is an insecurity, and I love playing. And if I want to, I just really dig going. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, wearing the sunglasses, and it just tilts these guys, and I love it because I love to be able to tilt them. This is something I like to do. Peter, hey Peter, great analysis on last week's games. Thank you, sir. Love poker too. We talk all languages here: gold, silver, economics, women, Vegas, anything you want. Pretty open forum, but I've already hit the football games this week. I will review them shortly. U.S. and that's hard to do. U.S. and that's hard to do. U.S. What are you talking about, Phil? Fake tells? Is that what you're talking about? Anyway, so let's go over the football games again for people coming in late to class. Well, not late. It's just an open class. Whenever you want to come and go, you do it. So let's go. KC 8.5, 52.5. Philly 7.5, 48.5. Buffalo 4.5, 48.5. The Niners down to 3, 45.5. Free pick is the Niners. I always talk teasers, Peter. So you've got to realize I'm the teaser king. It makes us so much more money, and we're able to predict 70%. Because we turn losers into winners, like Georgia against Ohio State. I had Georgia even. We're the only ones that won that game because everybody else took Georgia lay 6, didn't win it. Or it makes us take TCU in 13 against Michigan, because now 13 is a big line, and we get winners with the extra 6 that people don't bet or take losers on. We had San Diego plus 4. Everybody took San Diego lost because they were laying 2. We won with that. So it helps. It helped in the Cincinnati game. That was by lock, laying 2.5. They win by 7. Spread's 8.5. So you can see how if you bet Cincinnati, you're laying 8.5. Would you even bet Cincinnati? That's the other problem. How do you make your bet? But at 2.5, you bet Cincinnati. Like here, Buffalo's 4.5. I love Cincinnati and 10.5 plus 4.5. I might love it, but I'm not going to bet with confidence the same as taking 10.5. And I've seen some 5.5. You can get 11.5 at some sites. So I'm going to do that. The Niners are already a teaser because it should be 10. It's only 3. So I've got 1 teaser, and then I'm going to tease it. So now I got the Niners plus 3. That's your free play, but now it's plus 3. They can lose by a field goal, and I still win. They're not going to lose. They're going to win the game straight out because we've already analyzed that. So I'm turning losers into winners. That's why my percentage is so high. And then it's the art of the teaser where you bet more on the stronger plays and the locks than you do, like Buffalo minus 13. I bet it very, very small, but Cincinnati, San Diego, I bet it very, very big. And that's really the key to teasers, because if you play 2 teasers, it's 4 teams. You're not going to go 4-0 sometimes, but it's very, very difficult to go 4-0. You're probably going to go 3-1. So you've got to vary your bets. Again, that's analyzing teasers since 1975. Did my previous message get deleted? What the hell? Oh, well. Well, it says U.S., and that's hard to do, so I don't know what that means. I love that the Cowboys won so easily on Monday. recent bias should have most on Cowboys. Love the 49ers this week. And they did a not fire the kicker. Yeah, well, the guy's really good. He missed 4 extra points. You could get a kid in high school to hit 4. For sure, the Michigan kicker was the best kicker in college. Didn't miss 4 extra points in his entire career. How do you have a kicker who can't kick an extra point? What do you think is going to happen this week? How many extra points is the guy going to miss? What's his mindset on a field goal? And if you think you're scoring touchdowns on Frisco, you're crazy. Plus, Dallas has lost a day because they had to play Monday night, which is actually the Niners played Saturday afternoon. They were the first game. So they've been resting Saturday and then all Sunday and all Monday. They got a chance to watch Dallas. Not that they don't know. And so the Niners are well rested. And here's Dallas coming off of a Monday night game, beating a weak Tampa team with no running. And everybody's like, oh, look at Dallas. Now they're good. Well, they still have McCarthy at quarterback coach. They still have Prescott at quarterback. They still have 2 of the biggest jokers in the world playing. And they have the best defense, and everybody's shoo-shooing Brock Purdy like he sucks. I mean, I keep hearing that, he was the last pick in the draft for a reason. He's not this week he'll show because look what Dallas did to Tampa. Tampa didn't run the ball. Frisco's got a guy named McCaffrey and another Deebo Samuel. Hello, you want to pressure Purdy, he's going to just dink it and dunk it to these guys. Good luck tackling McCaffrey, but we can run with McCaffrey and Samuel. Tampa Bay didn't have a running attack, so you can't just come after the quarterback. And why is Purdy all of a sudden, after what he's done, going to look like shit? I don't buy that. He's fine. He's clutch at Iowa State going against Baylor and Oak State and Texas, Oklahoma. He played very well in those games. I know they upset Oklahoma every fucking year. So what are you talking about? The guy played in several big games. Why would him get scared against Dallas? Maybe in the Super Bowl, but even then I doubt it. He looks legit. He's done it for 5-6 weeks. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you like picking on Brock Purdy all of a sudden? So anyway, so those are the games. We like the KC over. We like Cincinnati and the over, and we like Frisco. And we're still trying to figure out Philly Giants. By figuring out, I'm analyzing, and I get a feel. Now, I know Frisco's going to win. That's my feel. That's the free game. I can't get a feel on the Philly Giant game. The Giants score. Philly's got this great defense, maybe. The Giants played Philly, made a mistake, didn't try in the game, and they almost won it because now mentally they don't know if they can beat Philly, where if they would have played and beat them and knocked them out of 1 seed, then they'd have the confidence going, fuck, we beat Philadelphia. We can beat anybody. But no, they lost the game, and now they have doubt. And believe me, I know. I played sports. You go up against the pitcher. Now I played some baseball. You go up against the pitcher that you can't hit, you ain't going to hit him because you know, fuck, I haven't gotten a hit off this guy. And then when they pull him and they bring in the reliever, your eyes light up going, fuck, this guy can hit. It's all psychological. The Giants do not have the psych they can beat Philly because they didn't try. Blame the coach. Coach needs to be fired. This is the problem with idiot coaches. I got to rest my players. What the fuck what do you mean you got to rest your players? It's football. You don't rest your players. You needed to win that game, and you didn't do it. So that's the problem. They don't know that they can beat Philly, so I don't know if I can take Philly -1 or not. I think I'm leaning more towards the over because the Giants somehow score Daniel Jones run. He's basically Fields, right? He can't throw, so he goes back and runs, and he gets 10 yards here and there. So they get to move the ball down the field, kick a lot of field goals because they can't score touchdowns because you need to actually throw the ball to score. Barkley will get you some touchdowns. So they're in the 20s. Philly's in the upper 20s. Hurts runs. Again, these running quarterbacks never win a Super Bowl. So Philly, I think the game's in the mid-20s. Over under 48, we go down to 42, 24-20. I can see that in this type of game. So I think you'll be fine with the over. I think it's the only play. I don't want to go under. Now, you can't look at the Minnesota game because Minnesota doesn't have a defense. So to score 31 on Minnesota, is like scoring 10 on Philadelphia. It's not the same. And that's where people get blindsided. They look at last week's result. They don't understand. Giants aren't playing many this week. They're playing Philly. Dallas is not playing Tampa. They're playing so you've got to come out of last week and scope and focus on this game and analyze it. And that's what you need to do. So basically that's what we got. So your Frisco is your free play. I got them winning 27-17. So the best thing is make your scores. And again, 37-24 KC, 27-20 Philadelphia, 34-31 Cincinnati, and 27-17 the Niners. That is your football. Where are we at, Phil? Okay. If he even gets close on one, I'm taking him out of the game on principle. Yeah, if he misses. I wish Dallas had lost that game by 4 points. That would have been great. Well, then they'd be playing Tampa this week, and they'd kill Tampa. See, that's what bad coaching. Tampa had terrible coaching. That's why they lost, and they didn't have a running game. They never got runners. Well, Fournette, I don't know. I must have got hurt in the game. Brady can't do it all, especially if you don't have a running game and they know he's going to pass, and then everybody wants to blame Brady. You guys watch a different game than I watch, or you watch it in a different way than I watch it, because it had nothing to do with Brady. He did the best he could with this crap he had. It wasn't Brady's fault. That one interception, we don't know if it was Brady's fault or the receiver's fault. Was the receiver supposed to cut left and he cut right, but Brady throwing it left thinking he's going to cut? That's what it looked like to me. So you blame the quarterback because the receiver fucks up. Well, there you go. And you're so quick to blame Brady and Rodgers. It's amazing. Like, didn't you watch the last 10 years, how dominant they were? All you guys say is Brady's the GOAT, Brady's the GOAT. And I keep saying it's Joe Montana, because Joe Montana never did that shit. Him and Jerry Rice and John Taylor. Look at the Cincinnati Super Bowl in '87. Him and John Taylor were on the same page. He threw it to John Taylor in the end zone for the touchdown with 10 seconds left. No interception. They both knew where they were going. He threw it to Taylor, catches the ball, touchdown, game. They win. They didn't fuck up. Nobody wants to give Montana credit here. They all think Brady, because he won Super Bowls, playing inferior talent to what Montana had to play. The '84 Bears, Lawrence Taylor, the Skins. Nobody wants to give Joe credit. He won the first Super Bowl. He won with nobody. He had Bill Ring as his running back, and Dwight Clark was the receiver, and Freddie Solomon, for Christ's sake. So you want to give him credit for Rice. Rice didn't come till after the '84 Super Bowl. So he kills Montana. He kills Marino, but nobody wants to give him credit for that. Okay. Yeah, if you watched and you bet, Montana's the best, because Montana never fucked up like this. You never saw Montana and the receivers not know where they're going. They knew exactly where to go. You never had these issues that Brady's having. Okay, so back to wherever. So gold should start going through the roof, because we understand it's not a normal, proper economics. Price eking demand. We know that's not it. Brady may be in such a world of hurt after losing FX, he may have to play for several more years. These guys feel broke if they have only $100 million instead of $300 million, in my opinion, because of lifestyle. Well, of course, Phil. I mean, it's all your perception. So if you're used to having $1 million, if you have $1 million, I'd be retired if I had $1 million. That's why I'm hoping my gold and silver go up. Then I'll retire on a couple $1 million of gold and silver. But that's fine for me. But I don't have $100 million. You know what's going to be worse is if Brady doesn't put his money in gold, he's going to not have any money, because if he keeps his money, he's probably got his money in stocks, probably some real estate, and probably in cash. I doubt Brady has any gold, and we need Bobby here to ask him. Bobby, you got a homework assignment when you get here. Where the hell are you, Bobby? It's fucking 1:17. So does Brady have any gold? If he doesn't, he's fucked because his money's going to turn to zero. His stocks are going to go to zero. So what's he going to do? So now he's going to really feel pain going from 300 million to zero, right? He has a lot of real estate, but I don't know how much he kept post-divorce. But how much is the real estate going to worth? Okay, the house will be worth something. But how much? First of all, he's going to need money, like you said, for his lifestyle, right? He doesn't shop at the same grocery store I do, and I doubt he's home cooking his own steaks like I do, so I don't pay $100 at Morton's. So he's doing that. Probably little to no gold outside of jewelry, my guess. Yeah, exactly, because A, they haven't been taught what I teach. B, he's going to go to a financial planner at JP Morgan, and they're going to say buy 40% bonds, 60% stocks. That's the safest thing. Well, they're not reading the stock market collapse. Why aren't they? Because they can't analyze. They can't think ahead. They don't understand what inflation is, or they'll think, oh, inflation is under control. The prices only went up 6% instead of 7%. Well, that's not inflation. The prices are not the inflation. Hello, McFly, is anybody home? I mean, that's how clueless. So they keep recommending stocks. Stocks are going to crash because companies can't afford the inflation because they can't pass it on to the consumer. The consumer's saying, fuck you, I'm not paying $30,000 for a Camry or a Ford, or I don't want electric cars. So all those go down, and all the suppliers to the autos will go out. Because if I give Ford tires, well, wait a minute, they're not selling cars anymore. They cut their order on tires. Now I'm fucked, right? So whoever I buy the rubber from now gets fucked because I don't need the rubber orders for the tires because Ford's not buying the tires because they can't sell their vehicles. So you can see how it's a domino effect, and that's the problem. That's why the whole market will collapse. And that's the thing. So I doubt he has any gold because he's not smart enough to understand it like we do. And his financial advisors will not put him in gold. I don't even think they can. At best, maybe he's in the gold ETF, which is basically not having any gold, and he'll get fucked there. So maybe he's got some gold ETF. But outside of that, now it's funny, the BlackRock guy does have gold stock, but that's all going to crash because every stock's going to crash. But then the gold stocks will go up as gold goes up, but you're better off in gold than the gold stocks. Carlos, hey, did you get my email yesterday? I don't think so. When did you send it? I don't remember seeing Carlos, but let's take a look. Oh, wait, before I go, look what's happening. Just as I predicted, here comes the gold going back up. It's about 1 o'clock. Surprise, surprise. It dropped at 10. Right at 10, it dropped, or a little bit before. And here we go up. This is when I would have bought it on the upticks. FYI, that's how you play this gold stocks and gold. Well, gold doesn't matter because we don't care about the price. But look at what happened. It's the same every fucking day. 10 o'clock, it drops, and then it starts going up. That's when you buy it. And then that's why you buy 1,000 shares or 500 shares. You buy a lot of shares because you just want 50 cents because you know it's manipulated. So you get in and out as quick as you can. So let's see, Carlos, you sent me an email. I honestly don't remember, but I might have deleted it. Carlos. Is it under Carlos? Oh, E-Trade from Morgan Stanley's giving me insights on the year ahead from Morgan Stanley. You think I should read that? Let me go to the trash. If I trashed it, Carlos. Tell me when you sent it. Yesterday. YouTube creators, Chase Freedom. I'm not seeing anything from you, Carlos. No, I never got it. I don't know why, but again, it's 1B. A lot of people give me 2. Keep that in mind. What's Nick saying? I got at +4 yesterday. Luckily, I agree. Plus SF defense would be much stronger than Dallas. So I'll send it again, but make sure you got it's HROBINS77. I get a lot of 2Bs. I do not have 2Bs in my last name. Only one, 77 at Gmail. So it's HROBINS77. So resend it. Morgan Stanley's outlook on 2030. I can't wait to read this crap. Looking to keep up with the latest. Our thoughts from the communist, from the fucked up communist Keynesian economist. Yeah, I'd rather not read it because I don't have any confidence that it's even truthful. So Carlos, resend it. Make sure you get the right email. Phil, Brady seems more preoccupied with his latest plastic surgery. Well, he's probably with the divorce, but he's probably got 5 or 6 girls on the side. People bought the gold dip immediately. There was no gold dip. That's all derivatives. So people are not buying the derivatives. The physical gold, this is my point, did not go down. The physical gold has not gone down all year. So they're buying it at this cheap price because it's cheap. When you go to the gold store, when you buy your gold and silver, you're buying it to get it. You don't give a fuck what the price is. The guy bought the 1/10 of an ounce. It was $2.30. I didn't care if it was $2.30 or $2.60. I was buying it because I want to buy gold because I know at 50,000 an ounce, my little 1/10 will be 1/10 will be what, 5,000? So I just bought a $5,000 coin for $230. Do I care if it's $2.30 or $2.40? There is no dip. It's all right. He said it went down a few dollars from this morning. I didn't care. I didn't care if I paid $2.40 for it. I needed the 10th to get the 51 ounces. But when I bought the quarter ounces on the weekend, I bought 2 quarter ounces. I didn't care what the price cost me. $5.76. Could have cost me $600. Could have cost me $500. I didn't care. You're not buying the dip when you're buying physical. You're trying to get it before it's gone. So you're buying it to put it away, to put in the freezer going, okay, I got it. I got more gold. That's all you care about. I got more silver. Bobby, wherever the fuck you are, again, he didn't have too many of those liberties I showed you the other day. He didn't have too many. He had more buffaloes than that. And he said he's getting the 2023 silver that you bought, but his price for the 2022 silver liberties was $30. It was down to $35. So price it, or get your price. Shop around, Bobby. Go to my guy if you need to. Although then you got to pay shipping. But your guy, you got to pay shipping anyway. So anyway, you're just getting the gold. There's no dip in physical because it's all being manipulated by JP Morgan. So it's all derivative COMEX. Are you really wanting COMEX to go down to buy? Fuck no. I mean, it's 19, what, 05? What are you going to buy it at 19 or 1890? If you're waiting for that, you're clueless. You cannot, will it go down? Sure. Does it save you a little bit? Yeah. But is there going to be gold there? You want the gold. That's what you're buying. So please understand, you want to get physical before it hits 40, 50,000 an ounce, which it will because they're keeping it down. Once it goes up to market, now, no, it's not going to go from 50 to 100. It's depressed price, so it'll jump back up. But then it's not going to double or, that's not going to happen. It's just then it'll find demand and it'll go. But demand, see, my point is demand's here. So let's say the price then goes physical and then it goes, let's say to 30,000. But then what'll happen is demand's going to go up because everybody goes, shit, gold really is a good investment or a good thing to own. I got to get out of paper. See, people haven't put two and two together. They haven't gotten out of the paper. They don't know what inflation is. So the government just lies to you and says it's prices. Oh, look, it's coming down. Stay in money. That's the whole scam right now. That's Madoff talking to you. But what you don't realize is it's not the prices, it's the value, it's the currency being devalued. They're printing and printing. Well, that hasn't stopped. So because they're still printing, they're blaming prices. Prices have nothing to do with it. So once people see gold go up, they'll get out of their money, and then that's going to raise demand, which is going to raise price. So let's say it's 30,000, everybody runs into it, but then that creates more demand and then creates the price to go even higher. And it could go much higher than 50. As you destroy the value of the dollar, keep in mind 50,000 is in US dollars. Well, the dollar goes out, it'll go even higher. See, gold's not linked to dollars. So it doesn't matter if the dollar collapses, your gold's going to be worth even more. What's your Bitcoin going to be worth? Your Bitcoin's what, $15,000 or $16,000? What happens when the dollars go out? What's your Bitcoin worth? Or you're going to have another one of these ETX episodes where the guy scams you and Ponzi's you and you lose it all. This is the problem with keeping it other people controlling it. The same thing with these ETFs. Oh, you think you have money in gold in the ETFs? You don't have anything. JP Morgan's emptied that out a long time ago. So there is no money in the ETF. There's no gold in the ETFs, and they don't have to give it to you. The price of the ETF, maybe that, but that's not what you want because that's money. Those stocks are going to drop. You need the physical. So everybody in ETFs, you're getting fucked. Ponzi, you're getting Madoff again and again and again. You're getting Madoff. You can only trust yourself or the professor. That's it. So go to the store, buy it. You have it. Nobody can fuck you. Let's see. Phil, okay, I got which chart you showed us confused. Let it be on record. Bobby, class starts when I get here. Ditch class today. Well, Bobby's going to owe us each 10 ounces of silver as his penalty. Carlos, could you write your email address for us? No, I can't. I don't have an ability to type here, only talk. So I'm telling you, it's HROBINS77@gmail.com. Or go to teaserking.com, the website for the football, and there is the email. But I don't have there is no way for me to type here. That's why I do it live. So I can tell you, you can type in the chat, but I can't. Bitcoin is 21,000 today. Okay, well, that's good for them. Maybe the dollar strengthened, but I'm not running to buy it. Again, it's in US dollars, so again, it's not money and it's not gold. So you might as well say, well, what's the Mickey Mantle card that I have? What's that worth today? A lot more than 21K. I guarantee you my Mantle card's worth a lot more than 21K. That's what you got to be careful of, is trusting people that you don't know, that you can't talk to, that you can't get the insight I give you. I explain everything. People that don't explain, you can't trust. Just run away from them, like the Madoff. I sold some ETH today. It's up near a 1-year high. Perfect time to cash some out and buy gold. I have a predicament, Professor. What's your predicament, Phil? Talk to me. Go ahead. I will. Aims to please, Phil. So that's what you're doing. See, gold and silver are a no-brainer. They will go up. They're being manipulated down. Once it starts going, the demand will keep growing, and that's what they're fighting. That's what JP Morgan and BlackRock and Powell are all fighting is they want to keep the demand down. So they think if they keep the price down, it keeps demand down. But I guarantee you demand is through the roof. And not only, it's not a U.S. thing. Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, Iran, South Africa, they're all buying gold. It doesn't have to be U.S. gold, but they're all buying gold. So the demand for gold worldwide is through the roof. They can't control it. They can only control the U.S. That's why there's not a lot of gold in the U.S. But it doesn't matter because gold is not a U.S. thing. It's a worldwide thing. I can buy like a half ounce of gold every other month or load up on silver weekly. I'm focusing more on gold because I have more silver. My gold reserves are paltry. I'll say that. So I think I should focus more on gold, even if I can't quite swing full ounces right now. Well, as I said, I bought tenth of an ounces and quarter ounces over the weekend. I bought 2 quarter ounces, was a half ounce. I give my girlfriend half ounces. There's nothing wrong with buying a quarter or a half ounce. A quarter ounce is $5.76. So if you're buying silver, my advice would be buy at least a quarter ounce or these tenth of an ounces or these. You can buy the grams if you got Swiss and your guy's got Swiss and he's got these 5 ounces. They're worth 0.17. They're $300. It's gold. You don't care. As long as you're buying either or, you're not, just think of it, you're exchanging worthless crap paper. I'm exchanging this for gold and silver. So the gold and silver will have value. So all you're doing, you're not really spending your money. Instead of watching this drop to zero, you're saying, I want gold and silver, and you're buying gold and silver with this. So it's really a cross. You need to keep money for your rent and your groceries and stuff like that. The rest should be in gold and silver. So I would buy what you can. If you can buy quarters or half ounces or tenth of an ounce, as long as you can buy gold or these grams, which I showed you what a gram's worth. That's what I would buy. And you can still buy some silver, so you can still break it up. What you'll eventually do is take 10 ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold. So it's fine as long as you buy either one. You're fine. You want to buy what you can afford, of course. So if it's easier for you to buy another 20 ounces of silver at $560, do that. I would say buy a quarter ounce if you got a lot of silver at $576, like I just did. Then I would buy if it's either or. You're ahead if you buy the quarter ounce of gold because it's $576 versus $560 for 20 ounce silver. Silver is going to go from 28 to 2,000, let's say. So 20 times 2,000 is going to give you 40,000. Gold goes to, let's say, 50,000. You got a quarter ounce. 50,000 at a quarter ounce is about $12,000. So that'll be worth 12. The silver will be worth 40. So you can see right there, you're better off with the silver. But that's because you're buying 20 of them, right? So if you're buying ounce to ounce, your gold's worth 12,000, your silver's worth 2. If you buy 1 to 1. So it just depends how you look at it and what can you afford. But that's what you are looking at. So if I can buy, I still want to buy some gold. The silver's fine. You'll be fine either. You'll want to cash in. Silver hits 2,000. You'll take 2 ounces to the coin. He'll give you $4,000 for it. That's spending money. If gold goes up, he'll give you 12,000 for your gold. So it's really either or, but it's good to have some more gold. That's for the bigger. You want a Mercedes. You come in there with a half ounce of gold, you got a Mercedes. So you'll do that. Thank you, Carlos. Very nice of you. I appreciate that. Phil, I have a bunch of little gold dime. What the hell is a gold dime? But I'd like bigger pieces, but will take longer. What are gold dimes? Or are you saying tenth of an ounce like I just bought? Oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of trading silver for gold, something to consider. Yeah, that's what you'll do. Because silver is money. as gold is money. So silver will always have a value. As gold goes up, silver goes up. So what you'll do is the ratio is normally about 7-1. So if gold's 50,000, divide by 7 is what silver should be. So let's make it 35,000. Silver's 5,000. So at 50, it's 8 or 9,000. So yeah, so how much you need? 7 ounces to buy an ounce of gold. So you'll do that, but it doesn't matter. As long, I got 400 ounces of silver and 50 ounces of gold. So I'm not trying to get, but when I value it, I value my gold at $2,100 an ounce because the guy's selling it for $2,080 an ounce now. So 21 times 50, and then I value my silver at $50 an ounce, and I got 400 of them. I'm more apt to, I know it'll be 1,000 an ounce, and I know the gold will be at least 30,000. I'm assuming once that happens, the demand raises the price to 50. That's where I get it from. But you see, the way I critically think is not to look at COMEX. So I ignore COMEX like you ignore Dallas beating Tampa. The idea of COMEX pricing gold is not realistic. So the 1907 I showed you is not really the true price of gold. It's the COMEX paper price of gold with some idiots selling 1 million ounces of gold that he doesn't have to lower the price. That is the fake price. That's why I say, but if you get to the real demand, that's where I'm going. Why isn't it going up? It should certainly be 20 to 30,000 by now with all these countries buying gold, knowing, see, the professor at these countries in Russia and China understand Austrian economics, and they understand the only way out is gold because their dollars are not backed by anything and they're all going to go to zero. They understand that. They also understand the US dollar is not backed by anything going to zero. So that's why they all bought the gold. And because we're keeping the price low, they can afford tons and tons of it at 1900 because they'll just print their dollars and inflate them to hell, take the dollar and buy the gold. And they don't care if they fuck their own country over. That's what they've done. So with that in mind, when I come up with a price like that, it's because I'm saying the demand is really here. It's not reflective in this low price, which is really manipulated down. Let's take the manipulation off. It ain't going to go from 1900 to 2300. The manipulation's huge. The demand is huge because it's worldwide. That's where I come up with $40,000, $50,000 an ounce. Now, nobody believes me, but I believe me. I know that's what's going to happen because of the demand, and I understand Austrian economics, supply demand, just like Oreos or Camrys or anything else. What is the market? And I can see the market for gold is up here because the market for dollars is gone. All the countries are gone. Nobody wants rubles or yuan, and they all want to trade oil for gold. Well, gold's worthless. Why would Saudi Arabia want gold for their oil? And Russia too. Why does Russia want gold for their oil if gold sucks, if gold's not worth anything? Keep that in mind. Ask those questions to yourself, and then you get the idea. Same thing with silver. Why is silver $24? You don't think there's demand for silver? There might be more of it, but believe me, people know it's money and are buying it hand over. Why do I go every week and buy a 20 ouncer for $500? I mean, it's the biggest no-brainer I've ever done. It's like taking San Francisco +3 55 times in a teaser because it's such an obvious no-brainer. I can take the family for dinner for a couple $100, or I can buy 10 ounces of silver. And once the silver goes through the roof, then we can go out eat at a better restaurant in a different country, a country of our choosing. But you've got to understand and analyze everything, and that's what I'm teaching. So that once you get that, and then you hear these idiots saying, "Oh, gold's going to hit 2,400," you know immediately I can't trust this person. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's relying on COMEX, which is not real. It's not the true demand. Remember, COMEX is just U.S. We got Russia, China, India, Iran, Saudi Arabia buying gold like it's water because we're keeping the price low. And by the way, silver also, but it's better when they talk gold. So keep that in mind. That gold is a worldwide demand, not a U.S. demand, but the COMEX is U.S. Why the rest of the world follows COMEX as the price for gold is beyond me. How fucking stupid are these people? These are the same people betting on Dallas lowering it from 4-3. You got to be fucking kidding me. This is a joke. Like taking Dallas in 3. What are you? You're not watching San Francisco? Oh, Brock Purdy, all of a sudden he's going to fuck up. Come on, man. He crushed Seattle. He's not going to crush Dallas. So that's the problem. That's what they're not looking at. It's not going to be priced in COMEX anymore. It's not going to be priced in U.S. dollar. What happens when the U.S. dollar goes out? How are you pricing gold? You're pricing it, and gold is gold. So it's whatever gold will buy is what it's priced in. You don't have to worry if it's in dollars. Phil said that the Bitcoin's 21,000 U.S. dollars. Probably should be 40 or 50 because there's more U.S. dollars printed, means the value of the dollars drop. So really Bitcoin should be much higher. But it's in U.S. dollars. What happens when the U.S. dollar collapses? What happens to Bitcoin? What currency does it go into? The new U.S. currency? Gold doesn't need a currency. Gold's gold. It doesn't need a currency. It'll really fly because then there'll be no currency, right? There won't be a U.S. dollar. I need money. That's why the stock market's going to collapse because I need money to pay my bills to live. And then what's the value of gold? Oh my God, I got gold. Look at me. I don't care if it's 1,900 or 2,000 to buy the gold. I want the gold. I don't care the price because I'm not trying to buy it for 19 and sell it for 21. I'm trying to buy it for 19 and watch it go up to 50. I don't care. All I care about is the ounce, right? I just want to have it. That's my point. So once the shit hits the fan, all people are going to want is the gold. They're going to want the ounce of gold. They don't care. I got a nice house. I need money. You got an ounce of gold. You can have my house. I'll go figure out somewhere else. All right, where am I at? Yes, 1/10 of an ounce look like little gold dimes to me. Yeah, well, they're 1/10 of an ounces, but I got 7 of them. Or actually, I got 8 of them now. I just bought the one yesterday, but it's okay because gold's at 50,000. Those are going to be worth 5,000. Well, or whatever. Who knows what the real? I mean, it'll be worth $5,000, but who knows what the dollar will be at that point? But that's fine. You've got gold. That's all you care about. Yeah, of course. Go buy some quarters and halves. Go get the kangaroo quarter I show. I mean, that's a cute one, but that's all you care about is owning gold. So go out and buy some more tenths. Go buy some quarters. You should try to focus maybe more on quarters and halves if you can't afford the 2,100 for the ounce. Go buy them, but they're just more rare because most people will have the ounces. They won't have the quarters and the dimes and the halves. But yeah, get the quarters and the halves. It's fine. I mean, then you have more gold, right? You have 20 of these quarters instead of 5 ounces. But it is fun when you count it. When I get a new member of the family, I get a new, like the 1/10 of an ounce. I empty it out, and everybody, I can see all the gold. It's kind of cool. Greg and John, hey professor, are you stock trader? Well, I am, but not now because stocks are going to go down because of inflation. So I give you a reason why, and then I'm out. But I was in the gold stocks, made a lot of money doing what I showed you, buying it at 10.15 on the hit, right? So I would buy it. Let's see our little gold chart now. Okay, Carlos, I see your email now, so I will respond to it after. So let's see our little gold price. Okay, so you see what happened. It dropped at 10 o'clock. Right at 10 o'clock, you can see it going down. So you can see it going up before, then it goes down at 10. Now look what happened about 1:30. It starts going up. Now I would sell as it's going down. So when it started going up, I'm buying. Now I see the down, I sell it. So I bought it at what? I would have bought it at 1903. It's 1906. I might sell it or I might keep it, figuring I'm going to get a 1950 out of it. But again, this is gold, not the stock. The stocks move, but they move the same way. This is the chart that moves all the gold stocks, but you can see it's uniform at 10 o'clock. Every gold stock, and you can go to them all, did the exact same thing. It's all fucking fixed, right? But we know that so we can take advantage. That's why we get in and out. That's the key. That's the key point here of what's going on. So Carlos got your email. So I'm a stock trader in a normal economy, but when I see inflation, and that's what we discussed. So I go to Toyota and the guy can't sell his cars for 30,000. What do you think is going to happen to their stock? It's going to go down because people can't buy, but they've already spent the money to build the car. They've got the plant and equipment that they owe money on if they make a car or not, right? So you got to understand there's fixed costs. Sort of like if you own a house, you owe your rent no matter what. Well, they own the rent on the plant, the utilities, and all the equipment that they've got loans on. All that, if you don't make sales, you can't cover those costs. So the real business, like the car makers, what they do, you do a break even and you go, I have all these fixed costs, the plant, the equipment, and boom, it's costing me X. Then I got the variable cost to buy the steel, the tires, the chips, whatever, to make the cars. Those are your variable. Then you do a break even analysis, which says, okay, here's my cost. I'm going to sell my car for X. I got to sell, 500,000 cars to break even, right? Well, if you raise the price on your cars, guess what? You're not selling 500,000. So if you don't sell 500,000 to break even, means you lose money. What happens to your stock when you lose money? It goes to shit because people are in the stock for the future. Oh, they're going to make more cars. They're going to make more money. I want to be in the stock. Apple, they're going to make the iPhone and they're going to sell more and more. Not at 1,500, they're not. So what happens is that's how you value a car company is the break even. But when you raise prices, which is what inflation is the effect of the inflation, the price has gone up. Nobody's buying. I can't cover my break even. What's going to happen to their stock? So if you understand the concepts, which I just told you, you then go, I don't want to be in there. I don't want to be in Tesla. I don't want to be in GM. I don't want to be in Ford. I don't want to be in Mercedes. None of the car companies are going to sell their cars because it's too expensive, but they have to pay for all their capital. They're fucked. And they're advertising. What are they advertising for? Nobody's buying your car with 9% interest rates. So with that said, do I want to be a stockholder? No. Then all the other part guys, the tire guys who sell, the steel guys that sell to the autos, they're not buying because they can't sell their cars. All those go bad. Then you've got your 1929 where people are selling everything because then you need money to pay to live. You got to pay your rent and your food or live in a box. And that's what happens. Most of these homeless are drug addicts and they have their costs so they can't afford it. Probably have, no credit and they probably can't live in an apartment. They can't afford it because all their money goes to drugs. But in this case, so you need the money. Where do you get it? You sell your stocks, which you're selling anyway because they're going down. So if you got you're Tom Brady and you got $1 million in GM and it starts dropping, what do? Do you keep it? Oh, it's just a dip, or do you say I got to get the fuck out of it? And then you look for another stock to go in. I will tell you the only stocks to be in now are Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Heinz, and Hershey's chocolate and stuff that sell food that's cheap because you will still go buy your Cokes and Pepsis. You will buy your chips. You will buy your candy. You will buy all those things no matter what, because even if it goes up 50 cents, it's not a big deal. And we all have to eat. Even though I fast for 75 hours, eventually I need to eat. So that is the point. So you change your stock purchases from GM Ford when interest rates are zero to interest rates going up. They can't cover their fixed cost. All the people like auto companies and anybody with a plant and equipment, even the Hershey's and the Cokes, have machinery and equipment and land and buildings they got to pay for. So I noticed Coke and Pepsi are like 2 liters for $2.99. They're out of their fucking minds. Now I'm seeing them on sale for $2.29. So you got to realize they got to cover it. That's why you can't raise your prices in the cost and inflation and think, well, they'll just pass it on to the consumer. It doesn't work because we're the fucking market. And we say, I'm not paying $2.99 for a 2 liter. They can't sell their inventory. They can't pay their rent and they can't pay their heat. They can't pay their employees. So they lower the cost to wherever it makes them money. So they don't make as much. That's why you got to be careful with stocks. I hope that answered your question, Greg and John. But right now, I have been out of stocks for a year and a half. And I immediately took my attention to gold and silver from the stock market. That's why I got so much gold and silver, was I got out of the stocks. And I basically just, whenever I got any money, it goes to gold and silver outside of rent and food and stuff. I got my car paid off, so I don't have a car payment. So that's what I do. But there's no value in stocks right now. You need to get out. There's no value in bonds, and there's no value in the dollar. All that's crumbling. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is get the fuck out of everything. That's why I'm telling you to get into gold and silver, because that is the low stock. That's about to explode. So you're getting a double kick. You're saving your dollars from going to zero, but you're also getting the kick of gold going to 40, 50,000 and silver going to 2,000. You're getting a double whammy because you're not losing money on the dollar. So when this goes to zero, you're not losing. And the gold and silver then gets, the teeter-totter. Gold, money's going down, gold and silver's going up. And that's what I'm teaching. Phil, FTX scandal has had crypto frozen in fear. Just started going up this week. I don't expect it to last long, though, which is why I am selling my crypto now. Yeah, take your profits and just run, and then you can buy your gold and wait for gold to go through the roof, which is actual money, which is physical. We don't know what crypto is because you can't hold it. Morning, Nick. How are you? Going to card show in early February, hoping for my Burrow card. Yeah, I mean, you can get that. You might start buying some Brock Purdy cards if depending on what they do. Good luck. Do what I told you. So look for mint condition Burrow cards that are not graded, that you can see are good corners, good centering, good card. It looks nice. You can get them for 1/20th of the price of it being graded. Then you go get it graded at some point. But this way you can really look at the condition. So make sure you understand the condition. 4 solid corners, perfect centering, and a good picture that's not blurry, that you can you can brush your teeth off of, and then talk them down. He'll be priced at Beckett, which are PSA, which are like near mint eights. And if it's $100 in the Beckett, say, use this line. What's your best price? I can't afford it. Inflation, da, 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 da. He'll come down if it's 100 to 60 or 65. Then you say, well, you take 50, you'll negotiate 55 and you get a $100 card for 55. That if it's gem mint, it's not really a $100 card, is it? If it's graded 10, it's more of a $10,000 card that you just bought for $55. That's your strategy. Phil, okay, thanks for answering, Professor. I will focus more on gold, even not full ounces. I'm still having physical gold in my possession, which is more important. Yeah, I mean, if you can buy it, if you just don't see any or you can't afford the ounce, just buy the silver. Buy something. But yeah, if you can buy more gold, it's always better. It's gold. It's the gold standard. Again, take the magnet. If it's not a reputable shop where you buy it at, and just put the magnet up. If it sticks, run because it's phony. Okay, Carlos, I got it now. Thanks. You're welcome. Nick, been looking online for Purdy cards already, way overpriced, around 1,000 already. Well, it depends how limited and if they're PSA 10s, but wait till he wins the Super Bowl. I mean, he's good, but I wouldn't, at this point, he's done nothing. He did beat Seattle. Now, if he beats Dallas, but then he's got to beat Philadelphia, and then he's got to beat Cincinnati. So at this point, just only if you can buy him really, really cheap. But otherwise, I wouldn't waste your time on Purdy. Go to Burrow. But Burrow hasn't won the Super Bowl. So you really want to see who wins the Super Bowl and hope it's Burrow. But if it's going to be Purdy against Burrow, then whoever wins, you want to buy their card. But yeah, I know we like Burrow, but keep in mind the Marino cards aren't worth as much as the Montana cards because Montana won 4 and Marino won 0. So keep that in mind. Even though Marino's got all the records, he doesn't have the Super Bowls. So you definitely want people that have won Super Bowls before you start investing too heavily. So keep that in mind, please. Phil, nice at Nick Maida. Let us know if you find a good one. You may pay a premium if he's won the Super Bowl by that time. If he's won the Super Bowl, I would advise him not to buy until July or August when they're buying baseball cards and nobody's buying the football cards. Will do. Go Bengals. Yeah, I mean, like right now is probably a good time to buy Mahomes cards. Or to buy Brady cards. You just lost. Go buy Brady cards. Go buy Montana and Rice cards right now. Nobody's buying those. Well, Teaser King is, but go buy Mantle cards right now. Ain't nobody buying those, I would imagine. You can find like really rare cards are like a 1945, 48 Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio's, 1930s Lou Gehrig's and Babe Ruth. You can find those at a card show that are real cards, like the Gaudis. You want to buy those. Those will always be worth a fortune. There's always huge demand. Just think, I want things that are demanded, right? I want gold and silvers heavily demanded, and the price isn't there. And the same thing in football. The Burrow card will be more demanded if he wins the Super Bowl or the Purdy than if they don't win it, right? Because people are fickle. He won the Super Bowl. That's why Brady's the GOAT, because he's won so many Super Bowls, which I disagree with. But that's why he's the GOAT, because they go, oh, he won 7. That's why Jordan's the best player. He won 6 championships, even though he never beat Bird, he never beat Isaiah, and he beat Magic the once when Magic retired. So he never beat Bird. So that's, if you looked at it till 1990, Jordan is nothing. He doesn't get anything till he wins 6 titles, but he wins 6 titles beating nobody, which is my Brady explanation. He didn't beat Lawrence Taylor. He didn't beat the 84 Bears like Montana did. Phil, how did the Dolphins fuck up so many years with Marino, Professor? How did they not give him enough weapons? Because they didn't have a defense. What I explained, look at Dan Fouts. You need a number 1 or 2 defense to win a Super Bowl, not an offense. Offenses do not win Super Bowls. Defenses do. This is why. What am I going over here? Look at the best defense in the league at San Francisco at 16 a game. Look at Jacksonville and KC at 22. This is what I'm saying is the defense wins for you. And you can have a bad day as a quarterback with your strong defense, sort of like, Cincinnati's defense won them that game against Baltimore, knocking the ball, and the guy runs 99 yards for the touchdown. That's their defense. Why did Minnesota not win? Because their defense sucks. They gave up 31 points to this Giant team. Marino never had a defense. The first year when he went to the Super Bowl in '84 was his best defense, and Montana shredded it. After that, he never had a defense, and they got him Clayton and Duper, and it became a passing show. But what happens? This is what I try to explain to you. The defense doesn't rest. They don't run the ball, so they can't score in the red zone. So, yes, he makes some good touchdowns. Look at the Jacksonville game near the end. He plays Jacksonville in a playoff game, and he loses like 60-0 because they had no defense, and then he starts turning the ball over because he's pressing. That's why Dan Fouts never won. But when did Montana win? He had Ronnie Lott. He had the best defense in 84. He had a strong defense, in 88 and 89. He had the number one defense in 88 and 89. And they were playing the Giants and Lawrence Taylor, and they played that 10-10 game that they kicked a field goal to win 13-10. You just held Montana to 10 points because you had Lawrence Taylor. The Lawrence Taylor teams will win more than the Marino teams. And Dan Fouts never won. Great quarterback, great offense, but offenses don't win. This is why I press and teach the defense. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the 74 Steelers. We're looking for the 84-85 Bears. We're looking for the 87 Giants. Those are the teams that win. Dallas with Jimmy Johnson always had strong defenses. Fucking Miami of Florida always had strong defenses. That's the key to it. You run, you rest your defense, and the defense wins for you. That's why Marino never won, and that's why Minnesota doesn't win, and that's why Buffalo struggles. Kansas City struggles. They don't have the defense. So your best defensive teams are San Francisco, Cincinnati, Philadelphia right now. Those are why we bet those teams will win with defense. Okay, what else? Well, everybody loved Marino, but his value is not where it should because he didn't win the Super Bowls because he didn't have a defense. I think his last game off the top of my head was 63-3 loss to the Jets. Was it the Jets? I thought they got killed by Jacksonville too. Maybe that was the year before, but, how do you give up 63 points? A lot of pick sixes and no defense, and you scored 3 points. That's how he doesn't win a Super Bowl because you've got to be able to play defense, one, and you got to be able to run the ball. That's how you win. You don't win throwing. That's why none of these guys are winning. I'm trying to think of an exception to the defense rule. Maybe whenever the Colts won a Super Bowl with Peyton, they beat the Bears, so they beat a real shitty team in the rain. Notice they didn't beat New Orleans. On Denver, then he's got a number one defense. They beat New England, and then they beat the Denver won in the Super Bowl. Look at Denver against Seattle. Look what the Legion of Boom did to Peyton Manning in Denver, right? It wasn't even close. The game was over on the first play when he took the safety. The game was over. Look what that defense did for Seattle, right? That's my point. You have that. Look at the Ravens with Ray Lewis, right? You have that strong of a defense. You're winning Super Bowls, but the quarterback doesn't matter. That's the point. Very rarely does a passing team win without a good defense. Look at Denver when they would lose. They've gotten crushed by San Francisco, Dallas. They lost by like 50 points. They made Phil Simms look good. Their defense was based at home because of the rare error, and that's why Denver even got to the Super Bowl. I was shocked in 77 they got there, beating my Pittsburgh and Oakland. Was a fucking joke, and then Dallas beat them by 50 points. And that was the easiest Super Bowl I ever picked, was Dallas over Denver with Roger Staubach. I think I laid 3 or 4. They won by 50. It was a joke, that Super Bowl, but it was obvious because Denver had Craig Morton at quarterback. They didn't have a quarterback. Their defense doesn't travel because it's based on the high altitude. Not arguing that defense wins championships. No, I know. I wonder if Lawrence Taylor was smoking crack when Giants were winning. I believe he was. Probably the height of crack was 80s and early 90s. Yeah, I'm sure he was. How do you think he could run the whole game and not get tired? Did you ever see the zoom in face of Peyton on the first play of the Denver Seattle Super Bowl when ball was hiked 6 feet over his head? Pure terror. Funny as hell. No, I've never seen his actual face, but I'm sure he was scared, and I'm sure I don't think the game was fixed, but it was like, what was he going to do? You knew they had no chance. Right off the safety, they had no chance. Seattle had enough with Russell Wilson, and that's Peyton Manning's claim to fame is he wants to throw too much, and you can't win as a throwing quarterback against that defense. The Legion of Boom. Who are you going to pick on? Richard Sherman? You're going to pick on the linebackers. The defense is they're going to sack you 12 times. Who the fuck are you going to pick on? That's why you need the running game and the play action to freeze them. Seattle didn't win every game that year. They did lose to teams that could run. And when they played the Niners, who had a great defense, that's why it was tough for them, because defense against defense. And I had a lot of fun betting unders then. That's really what you're looking at is you're betting. Your defense will win for you. They'll get the turnover, and the other team won't move on you. So how are they going to win? So how is Dallas going to move up and down the field against this defense? That's why I love Frisco. I got enough help with Purdy, and I got enough help with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel that I can score my 25 points. But how's Dallas going to score against this defense? They're not going to. What are they going to do? They're not going to score. So that's the thing. But Peyton Manning was the biggest choke because he wanted to throw all the time. He didn't let the running game go, and he didn't rest his defense. He didn't play team ball like Montana did. How do you think Montana went to 4 fucking Super Bowls? He ran the ball. He rested his defense. They had Roger Craig. Peyton Manning wasn't smart enough to run the ball and rest his defense, which is why he barely won. He got lucky to win the 1 Super Bowl with Indy. And then Denver, he stumbled into a good defense, which is what Brady thought he was doing at Tampa. So when you say, where's Brady going? He's leaving Tampa. My guess, he should go to a team like Philadelphia or Seattle. It's tough. They don't really have a defense. But if I was him, I'd go to Philadelphia, try to get to Frisco. He's not going to Buffalo or Cincinnati. The Giants would be a good place. They have a pretty good defense. Not Jacksonville, obviously not KC. Dallas would be a good place for him. He'd be good at Dallas. I was leading a quarterback. So what else? So anyway, be careful of the inflation. It's rotting your money. They're not telling you. They're misleading you into you think it's prices, and it's not. It's the value of the dollar dropping, making things cost more because they need more dollars. You have to understand that basic principle. Until you understand that, you're fucked. Once you understand that, you're safe. And that's the whole critical point of every show I do, every class, is that you understand inflation is the rotting of the money, making things cost more because it takes more dollars to buy. So when they come out with the new CPI and they say, oh, the prices are lower, inflation's going down, it's apples and oranges. It's got nothing to do with inflation. Prices could be low doesn't mean there's no inflation, because inflation is printing the dollar. And as more of the dollars start coming back from the Europe and Japan and India, because they got all these dollars they don't want before you sanction us, so they are pushing it back, that's going to really kill inflation. It'll really go through the roof because now all this money is coming back, and it's going to make it worth even less. Phil, you're right. He ignored the run, even with Edgar and James and Al Gore in his backfield. I guess that answers my question. Yeah, Frank Gore. Well, it could have been Al Gore. Who knows? That's the problem. And the league's trying to be all this passing, but if you notice, the passing teams aren't winning. So let's look who's in there. Jacksonville has Etnine and Lawrence runs. KC has Mahomes, but he still runs. Chocolate Eclair is playing this week, I see. He's probable. That's going to be huge for KC, much more points because he's really good inside the 10-yard line. The Giants, Daniel Jones can't pass. He runs. Philadelphia has Hurts who runs. Cincinnati's good running team. Buffalo lacks the run, which is why they won't win. They don't have a running back. They have Cook a little. They don't run him. They want to run Josh Allen, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then we go to Dallas, who is balanced. And then the Niners, who are the most balanced, offense and defense. Al Gore is running back for the globalist scum. I caught that. He invented the internet, you know. He probably invented NASA and everything. Just amazing, these morons that get into politics who only care about themselves, who only do it for the money. It's a shame because the whole point of politics is to do it for us. I go to represent you. That's why I go into politics. That's the whole point of me being a governor, or senator, or whatever. And all they do is go in for themselves, going, okay, we're the lobby. Give me money, give me money, give me money. Fuck the people, whatever you want. Oh, JP Morgan wants this. Oh, the SEC, we won't prosecute them. We'll just say they did a bad job in the Madoff thing. We won't even think that they got paid off. Why would we think that? It's amazing nobody's come up with that conclusion. It's so obvious that they were paid off. If I'm telling you 30 things that are red flags and you ignore all of them, you can't be that stupid. It's you're paid off to just ignore it. And Madoff's fine. What are you talking about? Because we are in on the Ponzi scheme also, so we don't want it to stop. And the rich backers are also paying us, so it's fine. Funny how that one rich guy was found dead in his pool once the Ponzi scheme was out in the open. He mysteriously dies in his pool. Because you cannot have loose ends. I bet JP Morgan killed him. And then the SEC, the guy's probably retired going, well, we got our money. See ya. Why don't they inspect the SEC guys? How much money did you make off of it? You know, how come they didn't go to jail? It's just strange. Of course, Professor, he invented the internet and probably the light bulb, I think, too, and the telephone and everything else. Old Al Gore. So anyway, so that's our picks. Again, KC, 8.5, 52.5. Philly, 7.5, 48.5. Buffalo, 4.5, 48.5. The popular number. And San Francisco, only 3, 45.5. Your free pick is San Francisco, although Cincinnati, KC over are quickly close to it. I have a lock posted already. So really you need to, that's why I have you buy the pick. You don't know what my lock is, but I can't just give it to you here because I got people that are customers that would be pretty pissed off if I said, oh, the lock is when they're buying it. So I can't give it away, but you can get it if you buy it. It's not expensive. Well, $100 was for the whole playoffs. Now it's still going to be $100. Well, it'll be $75 for the week. Then you got next week in the Super Bowl. So anyway, that's football. We've talked poker again. We've talked gold. The airplane, yeah. Al Gore invented a lot. He's an engineer. Nobody knew it. We thought he was just an asshole politician. So I got to look into this economic conference that's happening in Europe with Schwab and Hitler and Soros and some of the other Hitler Youth and JP Morgan. I got to see what's going on with that. Hopefully they'll have something in the news or YouTube or Google that I can read how they're going to destroy all of us. But go buy your gold and silver. Silver you can always at $28 an ounce. You can always for $280, which is a joke, and it's inflated money. They're not even checking for inflation. This is the part how stupid the gold and silver dealers, coin shops are. With the massive inflation, the price should be going up because of the inflation. It's not. I've been buying the silver at 27, 28, $29 an ounce for a year now. It should be at least $40 based on inflation, right? They don't even know how to factor that in. They're still getting it from the mint at 23, 24, and then they're checking around, and all the coin stores who sell gold and silver are like 28. So they get together. They're not intelligent enough to go out on their own. And they think, well, if I make it $50, nobody will buy it. And I'm like, well, we'll see. Do you really want to sell it at 28? There's inflation. If I'm running a coin shop, do I really want to sell my silver at $28.40, or do I want to sell it at least $100 an ounce now? Because I really don't want to sell it at 28, and I don't really care if I sell it at I don't care if it doesn't sell at 100. I don't want to sell it at 28. And people will ask, why is it up so much? And I'll say, because of inflation, and this is where it's going. So I'm ahead of the curve. And get people thinking instead of me laughing at them going, you're still $28? Thank you. Your fast solved your ankle issues. Well, I went on, I guess it did. 75 hours later, after 18, autography kicks in. Autography cleans your body. That's why I did it so long, but it cleans everything. You can't have cancer. If you don't have sugar in your body, it takes care of all the bad cells. So your cells go bad. The fasting and the autography after the 18 hours cleans your cells. It eats all the bad cells because it's looking for food, and that's what your body does. That's so you look thinner after it. You feel so much, but once you start eating, you go 7. And I'll tell you, Saturday night I did not need to eat. I could have easily went to Sunday, but I had food that I had made that I didn't want to go bad. So I ate Saturday night, but I didn't eat till 6. But I was starving on Friday because I made the sloppy joes and I had chicken. But Saturday I wasn't thinking about it, and I was watching the game. I could have easily stayed up, went to sleep early, got up Sunday morning, and added 12 hours to the fast. So I could have easily gotten into the 80s if I wanted to, but I thought, well, 75 hours should have cleaned me up pretty well. So, and it did, and I feel fine. My feet have been fine. So yeah, everything's good. Thank you very much. Davos, I heard they have handicap parking for their jets. Talk about out of touch. Yeah, they have all the answers for the little people. If there was any justice in this world, they would all. Who is Davos? I don't know. Get arrested at Davos as soon as they step off the jet. What, is that a country or a city? I don't know what Davos is. What I like about Europe is, except Amsterdam, like in Lisbon or Ukraine, their airports are nice and small. Romania, it's very easy. Get off the plane, you go through it. Half the time they don't even do. I did not go through customs at Portugal. Nobody was there. I got my bags. I met my girlfriend at luggage, and we walked right out. Nobody. We did not go through passport or customs or anything. They don't care in Europe, especially in the Ukraine. They don't care mostly. You just walk off the plane, take your luggage, get a cab, go to your hotel. So it's beautiful. But I don't know what Davos is. Get arrested at Davos as soon as they step off their jet. What are we talking about, Phil, here? Handicap parking for their jets. Yet they have all the answers for the little people. If there was any justice in the world, they would all. I'm missing that. What is Davos? So don't know. Anyway, I think that's about it. So I gave you the games. Free play, San Francisco. Watch gold go through the roof. Once it is, we know the demand's huge. Wait till the price cracks, which is cracking. And off we go. So a little dip here. Stock market, I don't get why it's, it's down today, but look for it to crash soon. Like we're getting in January, there's something that's going to happen. I would say in the next couple of months where you're going to see the market really tank and gold go through the roof, probably near the same time. So keep your eyes on that's what's happening, and I try to explain that's what's happening. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Bobby, you owe us 10 ounces of silver for missing the class. Everything else is good. Have a good day. Stay healthy. Stay away from your sugars and high fructose corn syrup in your carbs, please. Anyway, that's what's going on. So www.teaserking.com. You get my email. You get buy your picks, whatever you want. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the class. See you tomorrow.